Hello everyone, welcome to What If Issei Got the Power of the Biblical God in Sekiryuutei movie. Before we start, please go support Robin117 for writing that awesome fanfic. This is the translated version I made. There will be some mistaken character's gender, but of course Issei is a male. Issei Hyodo changes places with the faction leaders in the Trihexa dimension, but what would happen if in that dimension not only was the Trihexa sealed, and there were two people adorned and feared by many, omnipotent beings who should have been dead since that war between demons, angels and fallen angels. And return after 10 years after the exchange of places, and nothing is as you remember, forgotten loves, broken promises and incredible changes. The beginning of everything. Narrates Issei. I remember when in the war with the Triexa all the supernatural factions united to face the battlefield was chaos. There were so many casualties on the part of the factions, and the Triexa did not look tired at all or even a retreat on their part, nothing. In the end the leaders of the main factions united and teleported along with the Triexa to their dimension. I did not understand why they did that, but Azazel and Ajuka gave me an explanation so quickly that I did not understand them. In the end it was the victory for the factions, but at the cost of losing their leaders. A week had passed since then, and my girls looked very discouraged, so much so that some did not eat like Asia, others just cried alone in their room like a keno. In itself the loss of their loved ones was very strong for them. So I decided to do something. I couldn't just sit back. I didn't like seeing them cry, seeing them suffer. I asked Office and Leffe to help me teleport to the Trihexa dimension. As soon as I told them, they refused. I explained it to them, and reluctantly they helped me. I told my girls about my decision, and they flatly refused to let me go. The one who refused the most was Rias. I only told them that I was doing it for them, so I wouldn't see them suffer. Even so, they refused. I told them that I was only going to get the letters out of the dimension, and I would leave with them. In the end they agreed. I said goodbye to each of them. I told them that I had a surprise for them when I returned, and that I wanted to propose something to them. They accepted, but they made me promise that I would return because they know that I keep my promises, so I told them this. Issei. Girls, I promise I'll come back to you, not just for a promise. I'll come back because I love each and every one of you. I want to see you smile, see you play, see you in white at the altar, and most of all, see how beautiful our children will turn out. I love you, and I'll come back. But that said, I proceeded to leave, but before entering the magic circle, the girls stopped me and said. Girls. We love you, Issei, and we will wait for you no matter how long it takes. I could only smile at them, and they were the last thing I saw. Days later. The magic circle appeared from where the brown-haired boy had left. All of Issei's girls and acquaintances approached as soon as it was communicated that it had been activated. The first to come out were Miguel and Penemu, who looked crying, and above all tired and hurt. Everyone wondered why they were in tears, but as soon as they arrived they fainted. The leaders came out two by two, until the last ones to come out, who were Azazel and Miguel. Everyone except Azazel fainted as soon as they arrived because their condition was pitiful. The only thing Azazel could say was that thanks to Issei they didn't die because Triexa was about to kill them. Everyone was wondering about Issei, but it seems the brown-haired boy didn't know something very important, or rather, the idiot didn't understand, and it is that to seal the Triexa, a sacrifice was needed that would remain with him to retain it. Dimension Triexa. Issei narrates. Everyone has left, now I go. He tries to leave, but I couldn't activate the magic circle, and it closes under his feet. What? But why did it close? Drake, do you know something? Drake. Buddy, I think you should study more. Someone has to keep Triexa in here, and since you changed places, well, that's your situation, but good luck. Issei. So that's how it is. It was this situation that I didn't understand that day with Azazel. Well, let's go with it, partner. I guess if we defeat him I'll be able to get out. Thus began the Polissa of Issei's life because the Triexa was too much for him, and just when the Triexa was about to give the final blow to Issei, he stopped and saw that he was not afraid of dying by his hands, because he had to admit it, he put up a fight, but in his eyes, there was no fear but anguish. So he asked him. Triexa. Tell me, half-dragon, aren't you afraid of dying? I only see anguish in your eyes, not fear. Issei. I'm not afraid of dying because I've already died twice. The only thing that worries me is not being able to see them again. That's what hurts me. Triexa. Hahaha, even in these circumstances you think more about others than yourself. You remind me of me in my youth. I won't kill you, but don't expect to get out of here, not even I can do it. Issei. Well, thanks. But I need to get out of here, and I have to find a way. Hey, Drake, you know, I just thought of something. Drake. What? You won't be able to see your girls up high. Issei. Seriously, Drake. I'm with and you think I'm going to think about breasts? No, my question is, to seal Triexa, a sacrifice is necessary to stay here with him. The first time they sealed him, who was that sacrifice? Dragon. Triexa. I actually hadn't thought about that. Boy, what a good question. I think I could answer that question. Lol, finally we can show ourselves. Hi, this is an idea I've had in mind for a long time. I hope you like it, and I'd like you to tell me if you want Issei to return with all the girls I have planned for the harem, or if you want him to not return with any of them except one. How are they still alive? I narrate. Issei, upon hearing that pair of voices, was surprised since he did not expect to hear more voices apart from that of the Triexa, but what surprised a brown-haired man the most was that while one voice gave him peace inside, the other was more terrifying than that of the Triexa. Issei, turning around, could see two people. They had similar features, but they looked so different. One was wearing a white suit and a well-buttoned white shirt. He had light brown hair and beard, but both were somewhat long. He had honey-colored eyes. He had a faint arrow that conveyed peace and happiness. On the other hand, the other subject was wearing a black suit with a dark red shirt poorly buttoned, showing what looked like a tattoo that went from his neck and could be seen advancing down his torso and apparently to the arm as well. He had a goatee and his hair tied in a half ponytail. He had red eyes that emitted a creepy look, both with a smile on their face. Before Issei could say anything, he heard a scream so loud that he thought he almost went deaf. Trihexa, what are you two doing here? You should be dead, and even more so, you've been dead for centuries. How is it that you're here? Haha, you haven't changed at all. Trihexa, always with so much drama, and regarding your question, I don't know, but now that I'm back, I'll be able to finish what I started. Calm down, brother, you have many things to do, but this is not the time for that. You will do it as soon as we get out of here. By the way, hello Trihexa-chan, how long, and nice to meet you, young Hyodo. Issei. Wait, how do you know my name, and more importantly Trihexa-chan? I. Haha, it's not strange. I know everything, or well, at least most of the things about the universe and other things, and about Trihexa-chan. I see that it hasn't been made known, but I'll tell you another time. Issei was left with more questions than answers, but just as he was about to ask something else, he was silenced by his partner. Greg. Shut up, mate, how dare you act like that to them too? They are beings that could kill us with just a snap of their fingers, and how is it that you don't know them, or where do you think Gabriel and Lucifer came from? Issei. Wait, are you telling me that they are God and Satan? But if they died in the Great War, how could they be alive? Chai. Don't worry, Drag, I've seen with the naked eye that your bearer didn't do it with the intention of offending you, and I'm not worried that he might do it. After all, he can talk to me with complete confidence. Yes, Issei, I am God, and here by my side is my brother, or better known as Satan. Satan. Hey, don't you think you're going to scare him off if you introduce me like this? Look at him, he's even turned pale, lol, but leaving that aside, yes, I am Satan, but call me Saladiel, that's my name. Issei. Wait, as if I were going to talk to them as if nothing had happened. If they are two gods, both held and worshipped, I can't do that. And regarding your request, I can't, Satan-san. And what are you talking about, brothers? That they don't hate each other to death? Chai. Haha, don't worry about that. You can talk to us without honorifics and as equals. Leave aside the formalities. Yes, we are brothers, but that's for later. And we don't hate each other's guts. We've just had simple sibling fights. Issei. Well, that's not how they told it to me. But leaving that aside, how come they are here, so no one is supposed to be able to get in? Satan. Yes and no, when my brother was sealing Trihexa-chan he was running out of energy, so I helped him, and because of a mistake on my part, we were absorbed into the portal, but I thought we had died. No, well, we just woke up. Issei. You know everyone believes that you killed God and that you died at the hands of Lucifer. Satan. What? Damn you, Lucifer, as soon as I get out of here I'll kill you, lol. Issei. I don't think that's possible. Lucifer has been dead for like centuries, in fact he just killed his grandson like days ago. Odd. So how long has it been? Trihexa-chan, why haven't you left here? I told you how you could do it. Trihexa-chan. Sorry, I didn't get it yet that I have them in front of me. Satan. Oh, let's stop this nonsense and get out of here. I want to go eat. Trihexa-chan. We can't get out of here, the seal is too strong yet, not even the three of us together can break it. We need more power. Odd. Isn't Issei strong enough? I mean, he gave you a bit of a fight. Or are we going to train him so we can get out of here? Issei. Wait, I know I'm strong, but not that strong, and you want to train me? I appreciate it, but don't you think it would take centuries of training to reach your level? Satan. Haha, in this dimension day out is month here, and don't worry about training because I already thought about how much I'll make you suffer, I mean train, haha. Issei. Turns pale and runs away but is stopped by something. Odd. We have to train you to get out of here, so there is no other Issei, any of us will hand you over, don't worry. Trihexa. But it won't withstand the training. I mean, it has a part of Opsi's power and the body made of Great Red's blood and flesh, but I don't think that's enough for the training of the Satan. I suppose that in order for him to endure the training we must give him some of our powers, right? Chai. We must do it all three, otherwise it would be useless, but we must do them at the same time. This. Huh. Breg. Hey. Triexa. Huh. Hell and love. Triexa. What do you mean, give him part of our power? You're crazy. If we give him part of our powers, he'll die. Besides, they would turn him into their successor, which would make him the second beast of the apocalypse. Issus. Hahaha, stop being dramatic. Triexa-chan, to get out of here we need your help and more power, since it is not enough with the of us, apart from the fact that here my power and my brothers are blocked %, since apparently being here something restricts our power, although I don't know why you two don't. Satan. If we had access to all our power, getting out of here by combining our powers would be very easy. Unfortunately, we are in that situation. Issei. I understand, but giving me part of your powers, isn't it supposed that if you have % of your power currently, giving me some of that power would decrease your power? Also, how about a successor? I can barely handle my life, and you guys already want to throw more things at me you. Issus. That's why don't worry Issei, my brother and I could give you %, and our power wouldn't decrease at all, since how do I say it? Our power won't decrease unless some things happen that I can't tell you, and I already told you to stop talking to us about yourselves, talk to us about you, since we'll be spending a long time in here. Satan. Very well, it's time for hell ol cough I mean. Triexa training, carnal, let's give him % the of us with that power, and the training will be more than enough. Triexa. Since I'm only going to tell you one thing Issei, you better survive and take responsibility. Issei. I narrate. Before Issei could say anything he received 3 beams of energy, one black, one white and one blood red. They had just begun to give him their power, and it was not a simple process since Issei stopped screaming and writhing. He was bleeding from his mouth, his eyes, his skin was constantly burned, but it regenerated quickly. Breg was not spared from that punishment either since he was suffering the same as Issei, but he only felt pain, since his soul being linked to the brown-haired man suffered the same pain. One workout and Doritos later. It's been 10 years since the hero of the supernatural world changed places with the faction leaders. At first he was venerated and idolized since he not only risked his life in the last Great War, but also exchanged his place with the leaders of Year's factions, allowing the supernatural world to not fall into despair and disorganization, but with the passing of the years people forgot about him. Almost all of his acquaintances and friends continued their normal lives really quickly, since they thought that's what he would have wanted. As for conflicts in the supernatural world, there was only one important thing to say, and that was that a new Chaos Bridge emerged stronger than the previous one, but with a much smaller number of members than the first Chaos Bridge. Somewhere in the underworld. The fight was taking place between the DXD group and some members of the Chaos Bridge. The fight was even since no one was backing down, but the DXD group was already looking tired because they had been fighting for some time, but this was interrupted by a laugh that froze everyone's blood. Salatin. Hahaha, finally free. Issus. Okay, brother, calm down, you're quite scandalous, you know. Issei. It feels so good to breathe fresh air and sunlight, what are you waiting for, love, come. Triexa. Moo darling, you didn't wait for me and I wanted to go out with you. The members of the Chaos Bride and the DXD group were quite terrified because the people who came out of that magic circle emitted a monstrous aura, and the one who was in the middle of them, his aura was times stronger than that of the of them together. Ova. Unfulfilled promises. It had been almost years since Issei left, and all the Gremory girls and other ex-partners of the brown-haired boy had gathered to hang out at a cafe in Kuo City. Rias. Girls, it's been a long time since we all met together, I missed being with you. Rossweisse. Of course you laugh if we haven't seen each other for more than a year, the last time was at Ravel's wedding. Ravel. But even so, a wedding is not the same as an afternoon with friends. Kaneko. Ravel-chan is right, but what are we going to do? We've been here for over 2 hours and we've already talked about our married lives. Arena. Hey Kaneko-chan, you're so boring, but you're right. I've already had like cups of coffee and I can't take it anymore. This whole adult thing sucks, especially when our children are grown up and we don't have to take care of them, and our husbands are so busy that they don't even pay attention to us. Asia. You're right, I miss my younger days, where I could move around more freely and without the need to make a good impression on society. The Fae. But even so, we are not all missing Akeno. What will become of her? She hasn't let anyone into her temple since that situation. Rias. It was very hard for her to lose him, just like it was for us, but she doesn't understand that he would have wanted her to be happy and to continue with her life. It's been 10 years since I saw her, not even her father knows anything. We only know that she eats what her father sends through magic. She doesn't even want to see him, her situation hurts me a lot. Arena. let's wait and reconsider and we can see her soon. Hey there, I just remembered that I left some videos at Issei's house along with some photos, how about we go look for them and that way we entertain ourselves and remember hahaha. Rias. Good idea Rena, let's go. A few coffees paid for in Dorito later. The girls had arrived at their former lover's house and felt nostalgic when they saw their ex-in-law's house. They were still in contact with them, but not as much anymore. They distanced themselves a little from them to live their own lives, so they were nervous about how they would be received. Issei's mom is arriving. Issei's mom. Now girls, it's nice to see you, but what are we doing here? Did you come to visit us? Rias. Good afternoon, ma'am, we came to visit you and for some things we left a long time ago. We barely remember that we left them here so we hoped you could let us pick them up. Issei's mom. Sure, come in, come in. The girls upon entering proceeded to go to the chestnut's room which was empty, since their parents decided to leave their things as they were, of course picking up to keep it tidy. Irina was the first to enter, and she went straight to the closet in which she searched and searched, but couldn't find the photos, but she found a box which she took out. It was a medium-sized box which said, "Do not touch." Kaneko. Leave that box there, it's his Noper magazines. Irina. Of course not Kaneko, Issei always kept his magazines under the mattress, his personal things were a separate thing, besides I've never seen this box, what is it? Irina opens the box in which she finds several sheets of paper on which something was written and a CD on which the name Essays was engraved. The girls were surprised when they saw the name of the CD, because they had never seen Issei doing anything out of the ordinary. Rossweisse. Look Rias, this sheet has your name on it. There are also many sheets with everyone's names on them. The girls took each sheet that had their corresponding name, each one began to read the content, and after a few minutes each one was crying, because the things that were written were things that the brunette felt, more things about them, for which they could not help but cry when remembering their brunette and what he did for them. Asia. Sniff sniff, hey girls, look, there are some cards left, why didn't you grab them? Kaneko. Because they don't have someone who wrote them to them and what they say is very beautiful, but I don't know who of all of us they are for. Leffe. And if we put in the CD, let's see if it gives us a clue. So they proceeded to put the CD in which a video began to play, showing a brown-haired guy with a guitar which surprised the girls, because they never thought he knew how to play. He began to sing. The girls were fascinated when they heard him because he sang incredibly. He began to sing without saying anything, but suddenly stopped to adjust the guitar. But the more songs the chestnut sang, they realized that what was written on those leaves were the songs that the chestnut was singing, but it didn't end there, because he suddenly began to talk to Dreg. Issei. Hey buddy, how did it turn out? Dreg. Great mate, you actually sing well, where did you learn to sing? Issei. I didn't learn it, something I've always known, but I don't like singing in front of people, it makes me feel embarrassed. Dreg. But you'll have to do it if you want to do what you have planned, and you're also planning to sing the last song that day, right? Issei. Yes, but I don't care as long as I sing them to them. I don't care that she sees me in the middle of the underworld. Also I write each song to tell each one of them how special they are to me. Well, keep practicing because I want to sound the best I can, so I can sing them that day. At that moment the video ends because it seems the CD is all she could stand. The girls simply said nothing. They took the CD out and proceeded to put it away, but Asia commented something. Asia. I'll keep the CD, girls, I hope you don't mind, and I hope you don't mind the letters too. The girls didn't say anything because they were very immersed in their own thoughts, because they couldn't leave out the moment the brown-haired man was thinking of singing to them. They proceeded to leave the house and go their separate ways because after the video they couldn't stop thinking about it. Return and feelings. Underlined words. You talk telepathically or through magic circles. The DXD team was barely keeping up with the fight. They were already tired and above all their wounds were already serious. The men tried to take all the blows from their rivals, who did not seem to back down. Asia, no matter how much she healed the wounds of her companions and husband, it was not enough because as they were healed, they were wounded again, so she was too exhausted to fight. Kaneko could no longer defend herself and lay on the floor in Asia's care. Xenovia seemed a little better but not entirely, since she had many cuts and bruises all over her body that were visible thanks to the fact that she had all her clothes torn apart. Kiba and Gasper barely endured the fight they were doing, but they were already too wounded and tired, so at any moment they would give in. The enemy group looked wounded, but only superficially. Their forces did not seem to have diminished, and they were noticing that the DXD group was already on its last legs, so they prepared their best attacks to finish off one of their biggest obstacles to their objective. They were about to launch their attacks, but they stopped when they heard a terrifying laugh, accompanied by 4 much more terrifying auras. Saladial. Ha 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 ha, we're finally leaving. Now get ready because very soon your head will roll at my feet, ha 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 ha. Jesus. Calm down, bro, it's not that bad. Issei. It feels so good to stretch your legs outside and feel the fresh air. Ah, how nice, honey, come on, what are you waiting for? Triexa. Moo, oh love, you didn't wait for me, you left without me, I wanted salt at the same time. Issei. Sorry, honey. I just got excited. We've been in there for a long time and I ran away from the excitement. Triexa. Okay, but what do we do now? Issei. Well, I want to go home to see the girls and my parents and you guys. Saladiel. Well, let's go to your house. I don't want them to know about our return yet, and besides, I think sleeping wouldn't hurt us. Well, we haven't slept at all because we're trapped there. Issei. Well guys, what are we waiting for? He stops and looks at the group of people flying below him, but he doesn't recognize them because he never noticed their aura before leaving to fight Triexa. The DXD group stares at the people, but they notice that one of them is looking at them directly, so Volley decides to speak, but before he says anything some words are heard. Chaos Bridge Group Leader. Hey you guys. Who the hell are you? Identify yourselves or you'll be eliminated. Satan and Triexa, upon hearing that cockroach, were going to take action, but Issei raises a hand signaling them to stop, and then Issei answers. Issei. You alone will eliminate us. What the hell do you think? You vile inferior cockroach. Just dare to lay a finger on any of them three and you won't live a second longer. He said this with an almost satanic voice and without showing any aura. The DXD group and the Chaos Bridge group could only shudder upon hearing the voice, but there was still an idiot who opened his mouth who said. Idiot. Well, all of us are insects, or don't you see that you are facing a supreme class? This idiot was Ravel's husband. If she doesn't judge Ravel, poor her. Just because of those words Issei got angry. Since being in Satan mode, it is very easy to get angry, so from one moment to another, he increased his aura to % and took out his Satan wings and approached at a surprising speed to half the distance that separated the DXD group and the one from the Chaos Bridge. Wings of Satan. Issei. Well, come with everything you have, supreme classes. Everyone was surprised when they saw the wings because they had never seen those wings before, but they did not give it much importance, but above all, that aura was monstrous for everyone because it exerted an excessively strong pressure, but they focused more on the headed man. Ravel's husband. You asked for it, just don't run away in the middle of a beating, and you guys, Chaos, you better help us with this idiot. Chaos. Just this once. Issei. Haha, look how I tremble. This comment made Satan and Jesus laugh, Triexa's hearts burst, and the Chaos group and DXD got angry. Asia's husband. Love, you better stay away. I don't want you to get hurt. Besides, you're already tired. Leave this to me. That idiot will see that he should never have messed with me. The husbands of the other girls said the same thing. Reluctantly they heeded their partner's request and moved away to a considerable distance so as not to be harmed, but in which they could also see the fight. Issei, on the other hand, remained standing without moving, his robe swaying in the wind, and he waited for them to attack him, but he was falling asleep in the process. Issei. Guys, come on, I want to go to sleep, without Satan's voice anymore. Finishing saying those words, everyone launches themselves to attack the chestnut tree. The mages preparing attacks and the melee were already exchanging blows with the chestnut tree. But none of the melee attackers could land a single blow on Issei, and they were angrier because they couldn't even touch him, since he dodged or countered each attack. It should be noted that Volley and Serog were not in balance breaker, since it was not necessary for them. The group of ranged attackers, seeing that they couldn't touch him, decided to act and shout to their companions to move away. They moved away and launched their attacks immediately. All of the attacks hit Issei, but due to the number of ranged attacks and his power, they created a dark cloud of smoke that made it impossible to see what happened to the hooded man. Rias' husband. Haha, that idiot was weak and stupid. Look, if he couldn't dodge those attacks, he should be dead by now, poor bastard. He couldn't finish speaking as he was abruptly surprised as the layer of humor dissipated and everyone could see a hooded man without a scratch, nor did his hood have any signs of a scratch or anything. Issei. Zzhoea, stretching, are you done? Can I attack now? This disappears and appears in front of the Chaos group and begins a massacre as he attacked everyone with an incredible speed. Since no one could follow his blows, they could only see how some were mutilated or their heads flew off, and others only by the gusts of air were cut in half. Of all the Chaos group, only the leader of the group survived, who ran at his maximum speed. And when he thought he was far enough away from that monster, he looked back and his consolation was great not to see it coming after him, and he turned around, but that was his biggest mistake because there was that hooded man with something in his hand, and when he looked closely at what he had he could see a heart beating. He turned to look at his chest and saw a hole in the place where his heart should be. He quickly turned to look at the hooded man and saw how he crushed his heart. This being the last thing he saw before dying. Sponsored video. Sponsored by advertising partner. Watch to learn more. Read more. The DXD group, seeing this massacre and the last attempt at survival by the leader of the Chaos group, were perplexed and above all pale, since that was a monster. The girls, seeing this, didn't think twice and called their partners to escape, but as always, there comes the idiot again. Ravel's husband. Do you think you're better just because you killed them? Come against us, they were nothing compared to us. Yes, I know they were already injured, exhausted and above all almost dead, and this idiot keeps opening his mouth, but since that's how he is, don't judge him v. Everyone when hearing this Mongolian turns to look at him with eyes. Issei's group upon hearing the words of Ravel's husband could only ask some other god to watch over his life, since Jesus was not going to come to his aid, since he was eating popcorn and soda with Satan, and Trihexa kept taking pictures of her brown-haired girl, even though she cursed that he was wearing that hood, since it didn't let her see her in that hexy way that made her horny just by looking at it. Issei didn't say anything and just gestured with his hand to signal them to go towards him. The first to go was Ravel's husband. Everyone sighed because this idiot only gets them into trouble, and so the others continued to go fight. Baal and Serog entered Balance Breaker and went at full speed. Issei was shocked when he saw those armors. He remembered the words affection, love, husbands, and above all he turned to see that group of girls in the distance, and his mind made a click. He felt that something inside him broke, and he saw their looks that they dedicated to the group that was going to battle with him, and he knew it was of concern. And deep love at that moment he didn't know what to do, whether to reveal himself or leave things as they are, so he quickly moved away a few meters while he decided. Ollie. Don't run away. Rias' husband. Come here, damn it, don't be too strong. Issei. Dreg. Sorry mate, I didn't think things would be this way. Issei. Don't worry Dreg, I just hope that what I'm about to do doesn't make me regret it. Dreg. It doesn't matter, buddy, I'll support you in whatever it is, and one more thing, Issei. Issei. What? Dreg. Beat up Albion for me ha 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 I want his head under your feet. Ha ha ha. Issei could only have an anime style drop on his head, being with Satan for so long, had given him some tricks. But Dreg couldn't complain, sometimes he was the same. Issei. Okay I don't want to hurt them, but I can't fight as if I wanted to kill them if the heaven form is used. Issei suddenly stops flying and stops a few meters from the DXD group and takes out a pair of golden angel wings, and outside his hood, a golden aurora appears. Angel wings. Jesus. Or so he will use it. I hope it doesn't cause us more problems in the future, but since, I understand if he wants to control himself that way is the right one. Triexa. Kayase I am my little stuffed dragon looks so cute but damn hood take it off. You won't let me eat you with my eyes. Satan. Triexa-chan calm down, poor devil, and remember the reason why we put on the hoods and what would happen if he takes it off. Triexa remained silent but gave him a look that made Satan himself tremble. He better kept eating popcorn so he wouldn't get beaten up. The DXD group stops dead in its tracks when the hooded man stops, but they freeze when they see that pair of wings, because they do recognize those wings well. The only ones who have those wings were Gabriel and Michael, but they didn't suppose that it was one of them because apart from that pair, no one else had those wings, and above all, they didn't have the ones that the hooded man previously showed, so they didn't know what to do, since apparently it was someone important in heaven. The group of girls also couldn't articulate a word because they didn't know what was happening, and they couldn't decipher who that guy was. The most static were Irina and Xenovia because they couldn't believe what they saw because they didn't know, apart from the blonde brothers, who else had that type of wings, and more because of the condition that must be met to acquire them. Issei took advantage of this moment of shock and proceeded to fight. The first to fall were the girls' husbands as they couldn't even withstand 2 blows from the hooded man, and since they were weak and tired, he proceeded to match the rest of the DXD group, who lasted hits and fell straight to the ground. Only people remained, Volley and Serog, who launched themselves with all their remaining energy against the hooded man. Issei dodged all the blows and returned some, which cracked a part of the armor that he had touched until with a last blow to each armor they disintegrated, so he moved away and said the following. Issei. With an angelic voice. Is that all Lucifer's successor and the devil have with the golden lion? I don't remember the name of Serog's sacred gear, please remind me v. These viewers listening to the hooded man could only get angry and throw themselves with their reconstructed armor, but it was in vain. With a single blow they fell to the floor again knocked out. And only one remained. Issei turned to look at him, and all he could do was make a scared face and couldn't stop shaking. Issei seeing this couldn't help but smile and scared him even more by saying. Bo. You a cutie a cute 5 you a cute. He let out a scream and ran away. Issei appeared in front of him in a divine light and said. Issei. Didn't you all think you could defeat me? And be thankful I'm only using % and I have no intention of killing your group, otherwise you would have had the same fate as the other one I just killed. This idiot was going to answer, but before he could open his mouth he was slammed against the floor by a slap from the hooded man. When he saw that there were no more opponents he proceeded to leave, but not before turning to look at the group of girls who were in the distance. Issei's group greeted him with a smile, and they left in a magic circle created by the chestnut tree. So what happens? When those 4 people left, the DXD female group quickly ran to their partners, of course after minutes of shock for having witnessed such a beating and massacre by that hooded man. The girls, realizing the state of the boys, decided to immediately go to the hospital belonging to the Citri family, since with their healing magic, they could not do much, and Asia was already too weak to heal such serious wounds. Citri Hospital. The girls, upon arriving at the emergency room, the doctors and nurses, upon noticing the people who had just arrived, immediately ran to help everyone. The girls were transferred to the emergency room, while all the boys were transferred to the intensive care unit. There will be no surgeries here, since Phoenix tears, that's what they exist for. The doctors immediately informed the faction leaders that if they arrived in that state, it was due to something serious and would have to be handled by them. Emergency room. The room was completely silent, as there was no one else besides the girls, and they were all silent, each deep in their own thoughts, but all thinking the same thing. Who were those people? Why didn't he kill their partners like he did with the Chaos group? Why did he have such different wings? And above all, why did it hurt them to remember the hooded man responsible for their partner's current situation? They all thought the same thing, but none of them dared to say anything because they hadn't yet assimilated the information correctly. Keep in mind that they matured but they didn't get smarter. The silence was broken by the shrill scream of a person who entered like a soul into the devil where Rias was. Searchits. You're laughing, you're laughing. What happened to you? Who did this to you? Where did they go? How are you? Are you in pain? Have you been treated yet? Are you thirsty? The hell, can't anyone bring a glass of water here? Everyone hearing the monologue could only have an I'm-style drops on their heads, as the strongest Mao just keeps increasing the Siskin instead of brute force. Azazel. Okay, Cisco Searchits, calm down, don't you see that it's okay, you don't have to be so dramatic. Auden. But you're right to be so dramatic, Azazel. I just saw the boys and they're not very well, let's say they're all severely injured and it will take them a few weeks to recover, but I wonder why they're in that state if they're strong enough. In addition, the doctors commented that whoever hurt them only hit strategic points and didn't touch vital points because if he had, we would have been sure they would be dead. The girls, upon hearing this, breathed a sigh of relief since they now knew the situation of their partners and that it would take them a while to recover, but they would be fine. Miguel. Let's just hope they recover satisfactorily, those responsible will be captured later. Rias. In fact, it wasn't several people, it was just one. Suffering. Rias. Yes, in fact we were losing the battle against the Chaos Bridge, but suddenly hooded people appeared and the leader of the Chaos group and Ravel's husband opened their mouths and got into the person who was apparently the leader of said group and they fought the person basically annihilated the entire Chaos group easily, their body parts could not be recognized, she gets chills when she remembers that massacre, but with our friends it was different. They only beat them until they were unconscious. Searchits. Okay, Rias Tan, but we'll have to look for them. Don't you remember anything in particular about those people? Didn't they say their names? Asia. Searchich Sama, in fact, the person who fought against our husbands and friends, had a pair of wings that I had never seen before. In addition to that, he had a pair of golden angel wings. What Asia had said had shocked the leaders, especially Miguel, since it couldn't be possible for someone to have a pair of golden wings, since there were only 2 people who had those wings, who were him and his sister. Miguel. Are you sure, Asia? You must not have imagined or confused his wings. Xenovia. No, Miguel Sama, we all saw them when he took them out. They were the same as his or Gabriel Sama's. Azazel. That is strange unless it is the father there is no other person apart from them who has carried those wings and tell me what the other wings that he showed were like. The girls proceeded to describe the wings to them, but with each detail the leaders were getting an idea of what the wings were, but they wanted to confirm their suspicions first. Azazel. Here, Irina, draw the wings, please. Urin. Hi. But why? Searchits. Because there has only been one person who had those wings and he died a long time ago. But that said, Irina began to draw the wings. When she finished, she showed them to the leaders. Irina. Just imagine them black with red. Upon seeing the drawing, the leaders couldn't help but turn pale, because it only meant one thing. The person with those wings was truly dangerous. Searchits. Okay guys, rest, take a week off, we'll take care of this, and guys, if you see those wings again, call us immediately, okay? Rias. Okay Oni-sama, but why should we call them? Rest assured that he took us all with the lair down, besides we were already tired from the fight with the Chaos Bridge. Azazel. Just do it, don't hesitate twice to do it, that person you faced is very dangerous, and you wouldn't be able to beat her, even if you were in her best form. Well, with it we leave, say hello to Vali and improve yourselves, guys. Rias was going to protest, but saw her brothers look along with the other leaders and understood that it was not a joke, but that they should be called immediately. But that said, the leaders left the room and each went to fix certain things for the discovery of said person. Kuo City, Japan. Issei's group had come out of a portal in a park in Kuo, the same one in which Issei was killed. Issei. Ah, how nostalgic this place brings me. Come on guys, my house is very close, I want to see and introduce you to my parents. Triexa. Hey, love, are you okay? You were acting really weird a while ago. Is everything okay? Issei. Yes, everything is fine, love, it's just that I met some acquaintances that I told you about. But that said, the pair of brothers and Triexa remembered the only supernatural people he had told them about and his relationship with them, so when thinking about those people before, they could understand why he behaved like that during their fight. Triexa. So it was them? Is that why you acted like that? Issei. Yes, it was them, but I don't want to talk about that now, let's go to my house. After that, everything was calm for the Chestnut group because they respected the Chestnut's request and they spent their time talking on the way. It is worth saying that people stared at them because they were still hooded. Issei's house. Issei. We're here now, wow, it's changed. Triexa. Is it H here? What if they're not here? We'd better come back another day. Issei. Haha, honey, don't get nervous, they won't see you or treat you badly, I assure you. Triexa. And then why are you laughing? Saladiel. Haha, why do you act and talk like a nervous schoolgirl? Jesus. Haha, you're right, who would have thought is nervous about meeting his in-laws? Triexa couldn't refute anything because she was nervous because she thought her in-laws would blame her for having kept Issei away all those years. Issei. Come on, leave her alone, guys, let's go inside. Issei approached to knock on the door and a few minutes later Issei's mother opened it and upon seeing four hooded men, did nothing but quickly close her leg, but she couldn't do it because a hand stopped the door. The lady upon seeing this action, turned to see the person responsible and was going to scream, but she couldn't because the hooded man uncovered his face. Issei. Hello Oka-san, how long? The lady couldn't believe what she was seeing so the only thing she could think of to say was. I. Issei. The other person inside the house, upon hearing what his wife screamed, went straight to the door and froze along with his wife because they couldn't believe what they were seeing. Issei. Hello Odo-san, how long has it been? Wow, you even have gray hair. Upon hearing this, the two recognized their son and could only jump to hug him. Several minutes passed and Issei's parents continued to cry and hug Issei. Then they calmed down and proceeded to walk past with their companions. From I. It's so nice to see you, son. I knew you'd come back. Come in, why don't you introduce us to your friends? From I. Wow, you've changed, son. You're white-haired now, but why? Issei. Ah, this points to his hair, I can change it, only when I use heaven form my hair color changes to white. Suddenly Issei changes to his brown hair color. And speaking of my friends, first of all, do you all believe in the supernatural? From I. Son, we found out through Kuroka, she told us everything, son, you don't have to worry. Issei was surprised to hear that since he didn't expect his parents to already know about the supernatural world and he would remember to thank Kuroka when he sees her. Issei. Well, that saves me some explanations, why don't you guys introduce yourself? Jesus. Takes off his hood, good afternoon Mr. and Mrs. Hyodo, my name is Elohim, but I am better known as Jesus. Issei's parents couldn't believe what they were seeing because in front of them they had the very God of the Bible. When they were about to respond to the greeting, another person took off his hood. Salatin. Good morning, gentlemen, my name is Salatin, but I am better known as Satan. If Issei's parents were already impressed, now they were even worse, they even turned pale. Issei expected something like this, so he could only smile at his parents' faces. The last person took off his hood, so Issei's parents were surprised because now they saw a beautiful brunette. Now imagine her without the katana. Triexa, good afternoon Mr. and Mrs. Hyodo. My name is Triexa, better known as the Beast of the Apocalypse. She said all this while bowing, her eyes closed, expecting the worst. Triexa was still waiting for an answer, but Issei's parents didn't respond at all, so she turned her face towards her in-laws and was surprised since both of them had their eyes wide open, their mouths to the floor, and were completely pale. After a few minutes, they were able to react and could only smile and respectfully greet their three guests. Triexa was surprised because the Issei parents did not receive her badly, instead they received her with a smile and a bow. I. Hello Trihexa-sama, I didn't expect that the person who made everyone tremble was a woman and above all a beautiful one, and from what I see she has a more than close relationship with my son, so I hope and it doesn't cause her any problems, and take good care of him please Trihexa-sama. As soon as he finished saying that, Issei and Triexa could be seen blushing like tomatoes. He from I. Haha honey stop bothering them and don't ask yourself how we know son because parents always know when their son brings his girlfriend home he hasn't left your side since you arrived haha and you can call us Ka-sama and Oto-sama if you prefer Triexa-chan. I. Well, changing the subject, it's not that your presence bothers me, but shouldn't you be sealed, Triexa-chan, and shouldn't you, God-sama, Satan-sama, be dead? Salatin. Please, Mrs. Hyodo, it's not necessary. The Sama in our names can speak to us without so much formality, and about us being dead, well, it's a long story, but it was thanks to your son that we were able to leave that dimension. I. Huh. No, how do you think we'll talk to them so easily, and like thanks to Issei? Jesus. Ah now I see where Ice gets his formalism from, you know it took us years for Ice to tell us about you. The popes now looked at Jesus with surprised faces because they had not heard wrong. He had said years. Issei. It would be better if I explained everything, look. Everything happened because. Flashback. Ah. Issei had been screaming in pain for a while, and no wonder, as he was receiving 3 beams of energy that could destroy cities and continents in seconds. While the brown-haired boy screamed and agonized in pain, the 3 entities looked as if nothing had happened, as they knew that it would take the boy a while to integrate all that power into his being and stabilize it so that it wouldn't explode. After a few days, a brown-haired boy could be seen breathing heavily, floating lying down, as moments before the transfer of powers had ended. Issei. I know the sound effects are regional, but it was what I could do, Drag hey Drag, are you okay? I can't feel my body anymore, what the hell am I going to get up now? Drag. Buddy, hang in there, just rest. Your body is barely stabilized, but you'll have to rest for a few days so you can move. But don't worry about anything, buddy, everything will be fine. Satan. Very well Issei, I see that you were able to stabilize the power that we have given you, and that is good, take 2 days to rest because you will need them. Issei. Thank you Satan-sama because I think that if I needed them I wouldn't feel anything. Not even 4 seconds have passed and Issei feels like a ball of energy passes over him too close, so he turns to look and is surprised by the person who just launched that attack. Issei. Hey Satan-sama, why did you throw that energy ball? Satan. Oh, that ball. No, I was just doing it to get your attention. It's time for your suffering to begin your training, so get up because that ball could kill you. Issei, upon hearing Satan, can only turn pale and shout to defend himself. Issei. But I didn't even say 2 days. Satan. Hahaha, 2 days. No, I said 2 seconds, so get up and run. Hahaha let the fun begin. After saying that, Satan began to throw energy balls left and right in the direction of the brown-haired boy, who could only start moving as best he could until he was able to stand up and run for his life. All this was seen by Jesus and Triexa who had an anime-style drop on their necks. Triexa. I think we should stop this. Satan is going to kill him and we'll never be able to get out of here. Jesus. Don't stop Triexa-chan, the first to train him will be my brother, he knows what he's doing, he may be a little crazy and psychopathic, but he knows what he's doing. Around years passed in which Satan trained Issei first in his physical training in which he trained his resistance and combat strength. After finishing the physical training he taught him to use the power that he gave him which Issei named as Satanic Power or Hell Mode, with which Issei could only take out a single devil wing, along with the powers that he could use which over the years was improving, and began to fight Satan. Issei. Take this. Issei punches Satan in the face. Satan. Now I'm angry, you should never have hit me in the face. Issei. But what if in a fight you get hit everywhere or your skin gets damaged? Lol. Satan. I didn't want to kill you, but now I will, increases his aura. Issei. Hi K-mai. He couldn't finish thanks to the punch from Satan, and he was going to receive more, I don't know why Jesus stopped him. Satan. What does this mean, brother? Jesus. Stop it, brother. He just hit you. Satan. He didn't just hit me, he mocked me, and you know that no one who mocks me or hits me in the face has survived to tell the tale. Jesus. I know brother, but remember why you were fighting with him, besides you know that if I didn't intervene you would kill him, and it's time for me to train him. Satan. TCH. Remember Satan still doesn't see Issei as a friend or equal, but as someone more inferior than him. Jesus. Well Issei, it's time for me to train you, so you better try hard. Issei. Hey Jesus. Issei's training consisted of sword training with Ascalon, then he was taught magic since now with the power of Jesus and Satan, they gave him great magical reserves, then the training of the power that God gave him, or as Issei called it the power of form heaven, in which Issei took out only one white wing, where Jesus taught him how to handle that power, in addition to the skills that he could execute, with the passage of time Issei was able to fight Jesus, not to beat him, but to fight him. Years later. CV Issei y Jesus Greedo. Issei Jesus. Ah. Both of them hit their fists in a strong blow, which makes both of them step back. Jesus. Well, here ends my training Issei, and you should be proud half angel, and you gave me a good fight you even managed to hit me. Issei. I appreciate it, but it took more than twice as long as with Satan. Jesus. Don't worry about that, the important thing is the result. Trihexa. Okay, enough with the talk, it's time for Issei and I to train you. Issei. Que pasa Trihexa-chan? Trihexa. Blush that is not noticeable because she is in her dragon form, it would be better if you did not use the power of Elohim or Satan, because now you will train your true power. Issei. True power? But I'm a blend of species I don't have a power per se. Trihexa. Of course you're a dragon now before you were half dragon, but the moment I gave you my power you became a complete dragon, apart from that now as a dragon you can train your true power, so you don't have to resort to others. Issei. So the powers of Jesus and Satan are not completely permanent. Jesus. Of course they are, only that first we train our powers because if you train the dragonic first, it would be more difficult for you, since when it came time to train you later your training with us would take longer, since you would use your dragon power without thinking, and not the one we gave you. Issei. Oh now I understand, he takes out his dragon wings. Issei. And why do I have 2 wings? And with God and Satan, 1. Trihexa. Because as soon as you train your true strength, the powers of Satan and Jesus will grow within you, since when you are strong, those powers grow more, and you will be able to grow 2 wings. Issei. Oh okay well can we just take a break? I mean I've been training for over a century, can I even take a day? Satan. TCH one more day here. Jesus. Come on, brother, calm down. One day, nothing will happen here. Issei. Now that I remember, did you guys say anything about being the new leader of the angels and demons? Jesus. What a good question, and if he is the new king of angels and demons. Issei. TCH and there's no way I won't take the position, I mean it's not that it bothers me, but I wouldn't want to take the position from Serchich and Michael who won with so much effort, although Michael was more obligatory than anything else aside from the fact that I don't want to be doing paperwork all day, oh 5p, I just want a normal life. Satan. How whiny you are, and if you don't want to be one, don't be one. You can leave the position to those 2 idiots and just be the king or leader. Issei. Phew, that's good, then I will only protect them with my life from anyone who threatens them. Jesus. Issei. Well, I've rested a lot, let's start training Trihexa-chan. Trihexa. Blushes, why the hell do I blush? I didn't even do anything to make myself blush, or is it that her power attracts me, and that she looks so hexy in every form, blushes. And Trihexa could not deny that after Satan Issei's training her physique had changed a lot, since now her body looked more toned, not exuberantly, but her muscles were noticeable under her clothes, in addition she had let her hair grow, and now she had it like Jesus, but tied to a ponytail halfway to the nape of her neck, and her eyes had changed to one brown with green touches, and another of 3 colors being the iris white, and half of the pupil was purple and the other red. Trihexa. Okay Issei, let's start training. Trihexa trained Issei the dragonic power that he now possessed and also taught him certain unique abilities of the dragons. After that Trihexa transformed into her human form, which surprised and made Issei blush, with which she was able to teach him the power that gave him which Issei named as destruction, since he could not tell her the power of the apocalypse, because he did not believe that such a beautiful girl had such power. Which when saying it brought out an atomic blush in Trihexa, which turned around to hide it, and laughter from Jesus and Satan for the reaction of this. After teaching him how to use the power, I teach him the skills he could use. Trihexa. Okay, Issei, that's where my part ends, and I'm surprised by your progress, since you were only able to achieve it in years and give me a run for my money. Issei. Thanks Trihexa-chan, but now what's next? Since I think we're done and it's time to go right. Jesus. Haha, calm down Issei, we're almost done. We just need to train you for 2 more things. Issei. Really? Elohim, what are you going to teach me now? Jesus. I will train you in the use of your sacred gear, since who better than me to teach you everything about it? Dreg. Okay buddy, now we'll be stronger. Issei. Of course, Dreg. Now everyone will know the true power of the great and supreme Red Emperor. And they will forget that crappy name they gave us. Dreg. Sniff you promise. But promise. Issei. Haha, don't cry anymore, friend, and of course I promise that everyone will forget that ugly name because of my immaturity and will know the power of the Supreme Red Emperor. Greg. Okay, buddy, now you're not just strong, but you don't think like a child, but like a man. One more thing, Issei. Issei. Si Drake que pasa. Greg. I want Albion's head at your feet. Ha 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 ha. Issei. Damn, I think Satan's training not only affected me, but you too. Jesus. You stop dramas and let's get started. So Jesus taught Issei all the secrets of boosted gear and also taught him how to master the Juggernaut drive without needing magic or life in exchange, with which Issei with his basic armor was as strong as a supreme class demon and with the Juggernaut he was as strong as a low class god. Issei. Dragon Shog X100. In the distance you can see an explosion with a cloud as if it were a nuclear bomb. Jesus. Wow, that is an explosion. Well, Issei, that's all. The training of the boosted gear and it didn't take you more than years, that is surprising. Issei. He thanks, and that would be all. I already have enough power to get out of here, right? Satan. Calm down boy, you are strong, but don't think that much. You are as strong as a supreme class demon and with the use of our powers, you are as strong as a low class god. You are still not at the level of me or the others. Jesus. That's why, as your last training session, you'll fight against the three of us. Since you could do it individually, you'll have to defeat us or at least be at the same range as us to get out of here. Issei. Wow, I didn't expect that, but fighting against the three strongest people in the universe, I don't think I'll have another chance, so let's begin. Satan. Haha, now I can return that mockery and that blow. Triexa. Come with everything Issei, because I will go with everything. Jesus. It's time to put into practice everything Issei taught you, so come seriously with us or you will receive my divine punishment. Issei. Oh, but of course I'll go with everything. And Satan. Satan. What? Issei. Come with everything because I assure you that you will receive more than one blow and more than one mockery from me. Satan. You dare. He was secretly surprised because not only did she hit him and mocked him, but now she was challenging him and confronting him like no one except his brother had ever done. Thus began the versus fight where Issei was losing at first but was using his taught skills, and when he transformed back into the heaven form, he took out a pair of white angel wings. And with the hell mode he also took out a pair of devil wings, which showed that now he was a complete devil and angel, which surprised the three adversaries since as soon as he began to use each form, he was giving them more and more fights to the point that he began to combine each form with which he gained more power to the point of defeating Satan first, then Triexa and then Elohim, who was the only one standing with a noticeable fatigue like Issei. Issei. He is breathing tiredly. These are sounds brought to you by Pablo Mix V. Jesus. Well boy, that's enough. You win. I'm surprised that you beat us, and even more so by combining the hell and heaven mode and the balance breaker with the destruction power. Issei. He thanks, but combining hell and heaven suddenly occurred to me and the idea of the boosted gear was dregs, and look, despite the fact that it brings me massive overexertion, those two combinations I was able to maintain them for I think it was years each. Jesus. Yes, it was around years of Issei fighting, and I have to admit you were a great adversary from the start, and even with a disadvantage you did not give up and you turned us around and you were able to beat us. Issei. Thanks Elohim, but I got even more excited because Satan started telling me things and that's where things got better. Satan. Haha, you're right, haha, but I have to admit it was the second best battle of my life, haha. Triexa. You're right Satan, it was a great battle and Issei turned us around completely. Jesus. Now we can say that you are stronger than us, boy, since even though my brother and I have percent you, by using the power we gave you, already equal us a percent, but your inexperience in battle was what made you overexert yourself, and that is worthy of praise, which is why I want to give you something. Below him appears a halo like his which he sends to Issei and rests on top of his head. Issei. Thank you Elohim, it looks very pretty. Elohim. Haha, it's not aesthetic, my friend, it's not like the one my children have, which is only aesthetic and has no function. The one I just gave you is the same as mine, which contains all my knowledge and which makes you the leader of the angels. Issei. Wait, so to be the leader of the angels you have to have a halo like this, which changes your angelic status automatically, allowing you to have golden wings with which you are determined as one of the leaders of heaven, but determining the brilliance of the halo and the size and brightness of the wings, the rank of leadership in heaven, in addition to the knowledge of this universe, which sends you the information through psychotelepathic communication. Oh my goodness, how do I know that? Elohim. Haha, you see, that is the function of the halo, and if that halo is equal to mine then in heaven you are my equal. Issei. Oh haha, I'd like to say I didn't know, but now I do, hahaha, and how come my head doesn't hurt? I mean, it's a lot of information and it's coming in all at once. Elohim. Because that halo gives you information, suddenly but slowly. Issei. Well, that explains everything, but now that I have additional information in my brain now I understand why I would become the second beast of the apocalypse. As soon as Issei said that, Trihexa stiffened, while Satan and Jesus turned to look at each other and nodded at each other. Jesus. Issei, my brother and I have to go see some things. We'll be back in a while, okay, bye. Issei. But why do you say that? Who am I talking to? They've already left. And well, Trihexa-chan, when were you going to tell me about that? Trihexa. I didn't know how to tell you this guy, besides, I didn't want to make you responsible for something you didn't want. Issei. What are you talking about, Trihexa-chan? Making me responsible for you? Of course not, that would be an honor for me, since who wouldn't be proud to have as a partner one of the strongest girls in the universe besides being beautiful. But how do I say it? I wouldn't mind being your partner, but I don't want you to be with me just because you're the second beast of the apocalypse, besides I think there are better candidates, right? I say, what about Great Red? He already has a lot as a dragon god. Trihexa. Blushing, is that a lazy dragon? Of course not, believe me when I tell you that you meet all expectations and he only meets half of them, apart from him, blushing. Issei. LK. Trihexa. Nothing. He's not as hot as you. Besides, I wouldn't mind having you as a partner either, blushing. Issei. Blushing, well, what do you think if while those two get back we get to know each other better? I say that if neither of us would mind being each other's partner, I think we should get to know each other better and see if over time we can be something more. What do you think? Trihexa. It's a good idea, because if we're going to edit together we have to get to know each other better. So the two boys got to know each other better, and they had plenty of time since Satan and Jesus took a while to return, saying that they got lost somewhere and didn't know how to get back, but Issei noticed that they lied when they said why they were late, but if they were lying to them it was because of something, so I'd better leave it like that and ask them later. After arriving, the brothers joined Issei and Triexa's conversation, where the four of them began to talk about their lives, experiences, tastes, romances, etc. Where everyone was surprised by the past of some of them and how they lived their lives. Apart from that, they began to talk about many different things and gave their opinions, with which they got to know each other even better, but they did not realize that they took too much time talking. Issei. And that's how it happened, but who would have thought that by dying that day for my first love, years later I would be sitting talking with the strongest people in the universe. Satan. Haha, cheers to that, buddy. Jesus. Okay, it's time for us to go, we took a long time talking, almost years. Trihexa. How could we not take that time? If they told us their whole life, Satan, and you. Jesus. Yes, true, Vita. Okay guys, it's time to go. Satan. Trihexa, help me create the teleportation seal, while your Issei gives all the energy you can to the seal to destabilize it. All. Hi. End of the flashback. Issei. And well, that's how we got out of there and how I met Trihexa-chan and Elohim and Saladiel. Issei's papas. Too much information for one day, son, but are you really as strong as them? Issei. Yes, they say a little more, but I say we are equal. Well, how about we leave this for today and continue talking about it tomorrow, since I'm already sleepy. Vita. Of course, son, there are 3 guest rooms so your friends can sleep there. Jesus. Thank you for your hospitality. MDI. Well, let's go to sleep now. Today was a tiring day. And that's how they went to sleep. Of course, Issei and Trihexa slept together, but they didn't sleep all night because Trihexa went crazy and didn't let Issei sleep until she fell exhausted. Ova. Revelations to the world and sad faces. Finally the day had arrived of the much acclaimed underworld singing contest that would be broadcast to the entire supernatural world, in which there were several contestants who would participate one by one, in which several of the contestants were the now couples of the ex-females of Issei, in addition to the men of the Gremory entourage and the DXD group who participated for 2 reasons. Wanting to give a detail to their partners and because they wanted them to participate to show the others how good and chivalrous their husbands were. The contest itself was simple, it would be direct elimination, and as there were many participants, those who continued to advance would sing several times. It was allowed to sing your own songs or sing songs from other bands or soloists. The contest would have only one modality, the solo. And to be the fastest elimination after disqualifying a number of participants, the band modality would begin, in which you could ask people from the public, acquaintances or other participants in the contest to help you, or you could team up with the other participants so that only one band remains, which would be the winner of the contest. But what nobody knew is that Issei and his gang V showed up, but only Issei signed up because Jesus and Salatin didn't want to participate so as not to cause a commotion, and Trihexa, since she doesn't know how to sing, she sings like crazy and flatly refused to participate, told Issei that she would support him from the audience and that she would help him in the band phase. The witch Issei accepted and decided to leave without first giving a kiss to his beloved and a hand signal to his two friends. The contest was about to start, all the contestants were behind the stage waiting for their call to participate. Some were noble demons, high-ranking angels, fallen angels and yokai of high lineage, but there were more participants of low lineage or category, along with some humans which were scarce because not many managed to go to the underworld. All were dressed in their suits prepared specifically for the contest, others simply opted for normal clothing. But the one who looked the strangest and earned the gaze of every person who passed by was Issei, who was hooded and was leaning against a wall waiting to be called. The Gremory couples, as soon as they saw him, felt like they had seen him somewhere else, and the cloak seemed very familiar to them from that fight they lost weeks ago, but they preferred to leave it aside because they did not believe that the person they fought with was the same one who was leaning against the wall in front of them. But they couldn't continue talking about that hooded man because they heard a certain fallen angel who came to the center of the stage. Presenter, Azazel. Hello supernatural world, I hope you are well, and with this, let's start the contest because there are a lot of people who signed up and we would never finish. Oh, and by the way, the contestants who will move on to the next round will be chosen by means of this device. He holds up a tablet that had the image of a meter by scales that measures the applause and screams of emotion. Whoever does not reach the designated goal will be completely eliminated. With that, let's begin, and our first contestant is the Unforgiven. Issei, upon hearing his name called, separates himself from the wall and proceeds to go up onto the stage. Issei enters, hooded, only revealing part of his white hair, holding a guitar. Azazel. Well, here is our first contestant and good luck, leaves the stage. Issei. Well, I wrote this song for a very special person and my first girlfriend was my first song, I hope you like it. Play song. I saw you coming without a flag. I don't even have you yet. And I'm already afraid of losing you, love. How quickly it has stuck to me. That everything inside is pain. I don't know you much. And I'm already putting the whole game in your favor. I'm not afraid to bet on you. Losing you does terrify me. I have no refuge but fantasy. I have nothing left to do but write you a poem. Because I saw you coming and I didn't hesitate. I saw you arrive and I hugged you. And I put all my passion so that you would stay. And then I kissed you and I risked the truth. Because I saw you coming and I didn't hesitate. I saw you arrive and I hugged you. And I put all my passion so that you would stay. And then I kissed you and I risked the truth. I caressed you and finally I opened my heart so that you could pass. I gave you my love unconditionally so that you would stay. I gave you my love unconditionally so that you would stay. The people didn't say anything at the end of the song, but after a few seconds, loud shouts and cheers for the white-haired man were heard, but there were some people who remained silent because that song was very familiar to them and they had only read the same lyrics on some sheets written by their ex-beloved before his departure. Rias. Girls, that letter, it's the same as one of those letters, isn't it? Asia. I think so, but I'll go get them. I have them stored in my room. So she goes off in a magic circle and returns almost immediately. The girls, upon seeing the letter and reading the lyrics, felt a chill and a feeling of loss in their hearts, but they couldn't figure out how the white-haired boy sang the same lyrics written by the brunette before his departure, especially because he said it was for his first girlfriend, and since he didn't mention the girl's name, they couldn't do much, and of all the letters with song lyrics, that letter was one of several that didn't have the name of the person Issei wrote it to. After the white-haired guy, all the girls' couples passed without much problem since they sang well until that VN people were eliminated, but it was Issei's turn again, who went to the center of the stage again with his guitar. Issei. I wrote this song for some people whom I loved from the bottom of my heart, but due to some twists of fate I couldn't be by their side. Play song. And you arrived without a flag. I used to think I knew who you were. I didn't know that inside you I would find the light. I didn't know that such a world existed. I didn't know I could be so happy. And life passed by empty without emotion. There was nothing floating in the air holding my heart. And you came and the world hugged me. And you came and the world stopped. Chorus. And you arrived and I was surprised by. And you came and the world stopped. Chorus. And you arrived and I was surprised by. The power that was in this love. And you arrived a blessing. I still remember the moment when everything changed. And you arrived and I was surprised by. The power that is in this love. And you arrived, a blessing. I still remember when you arrived. When the song ended, there were seconds of silence, followed by screams and shouts from the female audience, who couldn't stop thinking about how beautiful that song was that the hooded man wrote. The Gremory were worse off than last time because the song the hooded man had just sung was identical to the one he dedicated to the church trio, who were astonished that the lyrics were the same, but thought that Issei heard them from somewhere and wrote them down to sing them to them later. On the other hand, Triexa was relaxed and showed no signs of jealousy or anything, rather she saw her beloved in a sweet way because she knows that with those songs he is letting go of that love he had for those girls who swore to love him, and she knows that it is the best because this way Issei would not suffer the fall of the dragon and would avoid the suffering of the ritual. Several contestants passed again, of which were eliminated, of which the Gremory couples were not eliminated. They saw their loved ones in a tender way, but there was something that bothered them a lot, and it was that hooded man. Every time he passed by, they felt a feeling of unease in their being, but they decided to remain silent. It was the chestnut's turn again, and now he came over and created a bench and sat there, adjusted the microphone and said. Issei. I wrote this song for a couple of sisters to whom I could never tell my feelings. I hope they are watching this and enjoy it. Put. When I fall in love Enrique Iglesias. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. If I could bring down a star from the sky for you, I would do it without thinking twice. Because I love you, oh. Even a star. When I fall in love. Sometimes I despair. When I fall in love. When I least expect it, I fall in love. Time stops. My soul comes to my body. I smile when I fall in love. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. If the moon were your prize, I'd swear I'd do anything. To be her master, oh. To be her master. And if in your dreams you hear the crying of my laments, then your dreams do not remain asleep. For it is true, oh. It is not a dream, no. I'm glad that sometimes in the end, when I least expect it, I fall in love. Time stops. My soul comes to my body. He smiled when I fell in love. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. When he finished singing that song, everyone cheered, the men showed a sign of respect, while the women had hearts in their eyes. In the part of the stage where the faction leaders were, a certain Mao felt happy, she wanted to cry with happiness, she didn't know why, but she felt happy to hear that song, and felt a great love for it, and in a certain rating game school, there were two black-haired girls who were watching the concert, but there was one who felt happy to hear that song, without knowing it she was smiling like she did a long time ago, only with a person who stole her heart. On the other hand, the Gremory group was in shock since that song was written on a sheet of paper which had written at the top, Citri Sisters. Which is why they couldn't believe that the hooded man would sing a song written in those letters again, although a blonde-haired woman, a blonde with a hat and another blonde with a drill hairstyle, had certain suspicions and an image of who he was, but they didn't want to believe it, so they kept their ideas to themselves. The other contestants then passed again, of which were eliminated again, with only Lefei's husband being eliminated from the girls. He returned to his wife's side, who greeted him with a kiss to support his friends from the audience. But it was Issei's turn again, so he came by again with a guitar and his hood up. Issei. I dedicate this song to my beloved fiancé who is watching me right now. I hope you like it, love. It must be said that as soon as the chestnut said that, the entire female audience felt jealous of that girl mentioned by the hooded man, especially the female group DXD and Gremory. They felt as if they had lost something important, but they put that feeling aside. Suddenly the hooded man takes off his hood showing a white-haired man with golden eyes, who as soon as his face was uncovered, made the entire female audience blush and made them all bleed through their noses when they saw his toned body, since Issei was dressed in black jeans and an unbuttoned blue shirt rolled up above the elbows with a white V-neck t-shirt underneath it, as well as white tennis shoes. But he said something that would leave the public dismayed. Issei. Oi Azazel. Azazel? What? Issei. Can you use magic to make the sound of more instruments? Azazel. Sure, but can it be done? Issei. Well, if it's not illegal it's fine. With which, as he finished saying that, he began to play the guitar and magic circles of sound appeared. Sound magic is not known in the supernatural world, which is why everyone was shocked, and when I mention later magic circles appeared, it means that Issei will play an instrument from the song, and the other instrument sounds will be made by the sound circles. Put. Flowers in February, the horns. Like rain from the capital. Like a break before the end. Like a New Year's hug. Like flowers in February. Sorry, I couldn't control myself. And I learned to fail at the worst moment. And there you were, there you were. And no, I'm not always what I appear to be. On the outside I'm bigger. With you I fall inside. It soon passed. It's that you arrived. Like rain from the capital. You arrived and I found love. Like rain from the capital. Like a break before the end. Like a New Year's hug. Like flowers in February. Like lightning. Like an airplane. You arrived and I found love. You arrived. To say that Trihexa wasn't red would be to say that she isn't since the moment the chestnut-haired boy started playing, he turned his gaze to her, which made all eyes fall on her, which is why he blushed because he couldn't bear that her fiancé sang to her in front of the entire supernatural world and that everyone looked at her. Triexa was fuming with embarrassment, but the smile on her face and the loving look she gave the white-haired man couldn't be taken away from her. Jesus and Satan smiled at what their friend had done. The women were jealous of Triexa while the men of the white-haired man for having such a girl. The Gremory and DXD groups kept looking at Triexa with hatred, although none of them knew why they were looking at her with hatred, since none of them realized the look they were giving. After that, Azazel took center stage. Azazel. Good morning, gentlemen, there are only a few more elimination rounds left and then the band mode will begin, but there's a surprise for our contestants before the mode changes, so here we go again. So the other contestants went back through, of which were eliminated again, including Asia's husband, who returned with his wife, but not before wishing his friends luck. But it was Issei's turn again, so he stood in front of the stage with everyone watching him intently. Issei. Well, next I will sing a song that I consider strong, I hope you like it. Onder. Corey Taylor snuff. Bury all your secrets in my skin. Hum away with innocence and leave me with my sins. The air around me still feels like a cage. And love is just a camouflage for what resembles rage again. So if you love me, let me go. And run away before I know. My heart is just too dark to care. I can't destroy what isn't there. Deliver me into my fate. You sold me out to save yourself. And I won't listen to your shame. You ran away, you're all the same. Angels lie to keep control. Ooh, my love was punished long ago. If you still care, don't ever let me know. If you still care, don't ever let me know. The audience remained silent because they hadn't expected something like that, but after a few seconds everyone applauded and whistled because they had really liked that emotional song. But the Gremory group could not say the same because they did not know why, but they felt a great pain in their hearts, plus the desire to start crying for each word that the white-haired man sang, but they could not show that they wanted to cry because their partners were nearby and they did not want to involve them in something as silly as Rias thought. This happened again with the other contestants, of which were eliminated, allowing Issei's turn to return. Which happened again with his guitar. Issei. Well, this song is for a fallen half that I haven't been able to see again in many years. I hope he's seeing me right now and this is for you. Sound circles appear. Put. Here I am, Luis Fonsi. Here I am to make you. Laugh once more. Trust me, leave your fears behind. And you'll see. Here I am with a kiss. Burning my lips. It's for you, it can change your life. Do not fear, I will take care of you, just accept me. Give me your wings. I will heal them. And from my hand. I invite you to fly. Here I am, here I am. Opening my heart to you, oh, my heart. Filling your lack of love, your lack of love. Closing the way to pain, closing the way to pain. Don't be afraid, I'll take care of you, I'll take care of you. I'll always love you. Everyone applauded at such a song because the girls applauded the white-haired man with eyes in their hearts, while the men had a look of admiration for singing such songs that they would never think of creating. The Gremory and DXD groups didn't know what to feel, well they felt the feeling of loss in their hearts and at the same time a great pain without knowing why every time the white-haired man passed by he made them feel that way, but they didn't know what to think because that song had the same lyrics as a sheet that said, for a Xenovia. In a temple of Kuo someone was watching the contest while making crafts, which since she saw the white-haired man she felt happy without knowing it, but as soon as he said that he dedicated it to a fallen half, she imagined what would happen if it was for her, but as soon as she finished listening to the song, she began to cry with happiness, she did not know why, but she felt happy to hear that song that touched her heart and reminded her of that person whom she swore to wait for eternity. When Issei finished, he got off the stage and realized that there were only a little more than half of the contestants left and he continued to lean against his wall. It happened again. The rest of the contestants, of which were eliminated, except for the Gremory and DXD girls couples, so it was Issei's turn again. Issei. I wrote this song for a fallen angel who I don't know if she's reading this, but I hope she likes it. Sound circles appear. Play song. Versage on the floor, Bruno Mars. Let's take our time tonight, girl. Above us all the stars are watching. Here's no place I'd rather be in this world. Your eyes are where I'm lost in. Underneath the chandelier. We're dancing all alone. Here's no reason to hide. What we're feeling inside right now. It's warming up. Can you feel it? It's warming up. Can you feel it? It's warming up. Can you feel it, baby? It's warming up. Oh, seems like you're ready for more. Let's just kiss till we're naked. Versace on the floor. Hey baby, take it off for me now, girl. Versace on the floor. Take it off for me now, girl. At the end of the song, the audience applauded the white-haired man because they liked that song a lot, it was romantic and showed great love and importance to the couple, which is why some men had already planned to sing it to their partners, including the Gremory and DXD couples. In Gregory, a certain purple-haired fallen angel called the Hexiest and most beautiful fall, cried because of that song, because she didn't know why, but it touched her heart deeply, so she began to look closely at the white-haired man to see if he could explain why he made her feel that way. The Gremory and DXD groups were not entirely happy about that song, they did not know what to do, whether to cry or feel like shit, they did not know what to do, because every time the white-haired man passed by they felt a horrible feeling inside, and more so when they saw that the card that said, "For me, Penemu is more beautiful and Hexy," was the same as the song that the white-haired man had just sung. The Gremory and DXD couples saw their partners acting strange and wanted to know what was happening to them, but with its nothing, some of the girls felt better, although others didn't even care what was happening to their partner. But that round ended again, so the contestants were eliminated, along with Rossweisse's partner, who said goodbye to their friends and went with his wife to cheer on their friends. So it was the chestnut's turn again, who went to the center of the stage with his bench and guitar and said the following. Issei. I dedicate this song to a certain yokai that I appreciate and love very much, I hope you are watching this and you like it. Sound circles appear. Boner. The way you are Bruno Mars. Oh, her eyes. Make the stars look like they're not shining. Her hair. Her lips. I could kiss them all day if she let me. Her laugh. She hates but I think it's so Hexy. She's so beautiful. And I tell her every day. Oh, you know I'd never ask you to change. If perfect's what you're searching for. Just the way you are. When I see your face. There's not a thing I would change. Cause you're amazing. Just the way you are. And when you smile. The whole world stops and stares for a while. Cause, girl, you're amazing. Just the way you are, yeah. At the end of the song, all the female audience except for the Gremory and DXD since they saw that it was the same letter as the sheet that said. For my beautiful yokai leader, they shouted like old arguers all kinds of things to the white-haired man, if some felt that they were in love, and others wanted to grape him, now that feeling in them grew to the sixth power, since the white-haired man does not stop smiling, and that drove them crazy, as for the Gremory. These girls better not even look at the white-haired man because just doing so made them feel terrible and wanted to cry, their husbands were worried because they did not like to see their beloved want to cry or feel bad, so they tried to comfort them, but just by hugging them they felt worse and worse, and something inside them told them that they were trash and idiots, but they did not know how to stop feeling that way, or why they felt that way. In Kyoto everything was different since a certain blonde Kyubi could not stop shedding tears, while she had a huge smile on her face, which she was unwittingly smiling. But she was surprised to see that she was crying, she did not know why, but she knew that it had to do with that white-haired man who sang the song that reached the bottom of her heart and made her feel great love. Thus ended the round again in which of the contestants were eliminated, including Vali and Sarog, who returned to their fiancés, who were somewhat far from Gremory and DXD. So it was Issei's turn again, who went without his guitar and created a black grand piano, which surprised everyone, since creating things was not easy, but leaving that aside, he brought the microphone closer and sat on the piano and said. Issei. Well, this song is a bit sad, but it is necessary that I sing it, since this is for certain people to whom I gave everything, but I couldn't be with them for different reasons. Sound circles appear. Play. Granted Bruno Mars. Easy come, easy go. That's just how you live. Take it all. But you never give. Should have known you was trouble. From the first kiss, had your eyes wide open. Why were they open? Gave you all I had. I'd jump in front of a train for you. You know I'd do anything for you. I would go through all this pain. Take a bullet straight through my brain. Yes, I would die for you baby. But you won't do the same. No. Black and blue. Beat me till I'm numb. Tell the devil I said hey. When you get back to where you're from. Mad woman, bad woman. That's just what you are, yeah. You'll smile in my face, then rip the brakes out my car. Gave you all I had. And you tossed it in the trash. You tossed it in the trash, yes you did. To give me all your love is all I ever asked. You said you loved me, you're a liar. Cause you never, ever did baby. But darling I'll still catch a grenade for you. Throw my hand on a blade for you. I'd jump in front of a train for you. You know I'd do anything for you. I would go through all this pain. Take a bullet straight through my brain. Yes, I would die for you baby. But you won't do the same. No, you won't do the same. You wouldn't do the same. Oh, you'll never do the same. No. To say that no one cried would be a lie. That song was so good, everyone liked it, but they couldn't help but remember or think about past loves, unrequited ones, or ones that for some reason fell apart. Everyone applauded loudly, as many identified with the song. The Gremory and DXD groups felt horrible because that song made them feel terrible. They couldn't hold it anymore and shed some tears, which they quickly wiped away, but it didn't go unnoticed by their partners, some of whom felt indifferent but had to act important, while others did feel bad seeing their beloved like that. Thus ended the penultimate round of solo mode, from which only people besides Kiba and Gasper were eliminated, so it was again the turn of the white-haired man who came by with a guitar and his bench again and said the following. Issei. Well, with this song I want to finish and let go of those feelings I had for certain people whom I loved with all my heart, but destiny did not allow me to be by their side. Sound circles appear. Play song. Rias, I'm going to forget you. Understand that even if I want to forgive you, I can't, I'm no longer good enough to love you. You hit me, you threw me. And you left me on the ground. And now you ask me to come back like before. I have no strength left to hate you. My soul can no longer be repaired. I no longer feel, I no longer see. And even if I try, I don't believe you. I'm not going to suffer anymore going all out for you to be perfect. I'm going to forget you. They tell you that it's difficult to find an honest love and give yourself. I gave you my heart and you broke it into 1,000 pieces. And it's because of you that I never fall in love again. You were my life, you were everything. I don't understand why you betrayed me. I'm going to forget you, I'm going to erase you. So go away and don't come back. Because this doesn't interest me anymore. It's too late to hear that you regret it. I'm going to forget you, I'm going to erase you. I'm not wasting my time anymore. I'm not going to suffer anymore going all out for you to be perfect. I'm going to forget you. The chestnut finished singing that song and quickly left there because that had meant his goodbye to them, so he could end that cycle of his life. The audience shed tears while applauding as many from the supernatural world identified with the song, especially a certain Yaokai leader who was shedding a few tears, remembering the unfortunate man who caused her so much harm. The Gremory group could no longer hold back their tears as they now felt the feeling of loss and anguish too strong, feeling that they had done something wrong, but they could not explain why they were feeling that way. Ravel's husband, seeing his wife crying, went up to her and asked her, to which she replied that it was nothing, that she had really liked that song by the white-haired man, with which Ravel's husband got upset with Issei and was going to complain to him at some point while being backstage for making one of his toys cry, but he stopped thinking about that because suddenly all the applause and shouts fell silent because Azazel had appeared again but with a smile. Azazel. Well, now that the solo elimination phase is over and the bands will begin. You are advised to group together immediately because we are about to start. But before this phase begins, I have to tell you to choose your partners well because if you lose, you will all be eliminated. And the event organizers want to have a little musical fight in which you will quickly vote for the 2 people chosen to fight musically, and the voting starts now. As soon as Azazel fell silent, loud screams were heard, the loudest of which were Unforgiven, Issei, and Sander, Ravel's husband. Which passed. Azazel asked to go to the stage, Issei passed as if nothing, but Ravel's husband did not stop looking at Issei in a hostile way trying to intimidate him. Azazel. Well, you were chosen by the public. You will only be able to sing one song and remember it is a musical fight, you can say bad words also, whoever loses will be eliminated, the way of choosing the winner will be the same as before, so start. But that said, Ravel's husband came first and sang the song of Saint Room rapping in Braille. When she finished, loud shouts of "Oh, she won't beat him," etc. were heard from the male audience, plus their applause and more from her friends, the other girls' husbands, and the female audience was quite quiet on the matter because they considered the song good, but it seemed that the song didn't suit Ravel's husband. So it was the white-haired man's turn, who stood in front of Ravel's husband and invoked sound circles, but he surprised the entire audience with what he did next. Well, he transformed into a black-haired man with long, slick-back hair tied to a ponytail, now wearing a red shirt rolled up to his elbows, unbuttoned, showing the same white V-neck shirt with black denim pants and black tennis shoes, but what stood out the most were his red eyes and the tattoo that ran from his neck to his right arm, which was identical to that of Satan. As for the faction leaders, they were surprised and alarmed as they felt the change of aura in that now black-haired man, and it reminded them of the aura of a certain devil. Issei tattoo. Issei hell mode hairstyle, black hair. Once the transformation was complete, he began to sing. Put big ass little ass and a poster. Issei looks at this guy directly. Big ass, little ass, and no, you don't. Hit a bump on the mic because you copy the beat because you lack flow. And say no if he's really big-headed enough. To kill a bird, but in one sitting. Make me a jerk so you can see who I am. I'll kill your cock wherever I go. Leaving you looking ridiculous, he's missing testicles, makes the sign L. On the street there are no titles. Or rules, no. Ass shows, people know your ass, points to the audience, and turns to look at them, the audience. Ass, straight up I don't dissimulate. Turns to look at this guy again. Dude, he'll cut me off. Whoever confronts me, he'll discover that I'm mortal. I'll go against him, old ass is ready. I know that they can't stand to see that they can't reach me. Fuckers, they can't stand it, not even a little bit. But the slap their snout opens, he points at it and pretends he slapped him in the fight. They show off a lot, but they are little bores. Greetings from the bucking bunch of asses, he greets the husbands of the Gremory girls with his hand in the middle of his pants. Big ass, little ass, and no, you don't stick a token. In the microphone because you're a copycat. In the beat because you lack flow. In life for being a jerk. On the street because you're big ass, little ass. As long as I'm alive, you no longer sound. To me, you're just as artificial. As a reggaeton singer rapping. To make him look ridiculous, I have enough testicles. For me you are not an obstacle, I can beat you even as a sleepwalker. Ass, your people know that you are ass, turns to see the Gremory and DXD group and points at them. Ass, they tell you where. I wonder shit you just gave me rope. And to stop me, I doubt you have them. I don't know what you're up against, but okay. The beat because you lack flow. In life for being a jerk. On the street because you're a big ass, little ass. And no, you don't hit a bump. And see if it's true that you're a big ass. But you're a big ass, don't send me an asshole. Because to pay whoever kills, I also have money. It's worth saying that the audience was wide-eyed as he had just humiliated and insulted important people in the supernatural world. But as soon as Satan let out a loud hoo, everyone followed suit. Even the female audience followed suit as they had to admit that the dark-haired man had completely killed and humiliated Ravel's husband. Ravel's husband was redder than Rias' hair because of the humiliation he had just received, and more, because the black-haired man said several things referring to their previous fight, which was a humiliation for him, and he was not the only one, because his friends were the same as him, since they got angry at being pointed out and humiliated by that person, and his girls are not worse, but they are angry since they were upset with the black-haired man for humiliating their partners and for having pointed them out during the song. But before any of the humiliated could say anything, Azazel entered the stage applauding. Azazel. Wow, boy, I didn't expect that, and what good writing, hahaha. And as it had been said, the winner would be measured by applause and cheers, so Unforgiven, you continue participating as for you, turning to see Ravel's husband, ASSS, you better practice your rhymes and take care of your butt, hahaha. Ravel's husband ran out of there, blowing black smoke out of his head, but not before giving Issei a hostile look, who, upon seeing him, didn't even flinch and preferred to leave the stage as well. Azazel. Okay guys, now it's time for the bands. And with you now the band The Boys Who Cry. Really? The Boys Who Cry will be the Gremory girls' partners. Which passed without problem, and after it the other bands passed to then weigh Azazel. Azazel. Well, with those bands, only one is missing, which is Unforgiven, which will be called the Black Metal. Come on, kid. Issei passes accompanied by Triexa, without a hood, and Saladiel and Jesus, with a hood. Azazel. Wow, I see that you and your friends like to cover up, but hey, will they be your band members? Issei. Of course. Azazel. Well, I'll leave you and play something good, leaves the stage. Issei. Okay guys, this is the song I want to sing. He gives them the idea for the song through telepathic communication while grabbing a guitar. Satan. I like it. Sitting on the drums. Jesus. Okay, let's get started, grabbing a guitar. Triexa. Let's give it our all. Grabbing another guitar. Note. I don't know what types of guitars there are. I think you already realized, so the character that you imagine that grabs the guitar that makes the sound in the song will be, okay, I don't want to specify guitars. Issei. Great guys, turns to look at the audience and approaches the microphone, and well, here is a song that is a bit different from what I have sung so far. I hope you like it. Honor. Hail to the king avenged sevenfold. Watch your tongue or have it cut from your head. Save your life by keeping whispers unsaid. Children roam the streets now, orphans of war. Bodies hanging in the streets to adore. Iron fist to tame them, hail, hail, hail. Iron fist to claim it all, hail, hail, hail. Hail to the king, hail to the one. Kneel to the crown, stand in the sun. Hail to the king, hail to the one. Kneel to the crown, stand in the sun. Hail to the king, hail, hail, hail. It must be said that since the song began, many cheers were heard from the audience and the parts that were repeated. The audience also sang them, so at the end strong cheers and applause were heard from the audience. Until a certain half-full which was at home watching the contest liked the song. Azazel comes on stage. Azazel. Good boy, I like that one, and with that song you guys move on to the next round. So the bands that remained were eliminated, again, except for the boys who cry, who did pass, to be Issei's turn again. Issei and his gang pass by. Issei. Okay guys, you already know the song. Boys. Of course. Issei. Well, I hope you like the song. Looking at the audience. Owner. Violence rise against. Dancing on the crumbling precipice. The rocks are coming loose just at the edge. Are we laughing? Are we crying? Are we drowning? Are we dead? Or is it all a dream? Or is it all a dream? Are we not good enough? Are we not brave enough? Is the violence in our nature just the image of our maker? He takes out his angel wings and halo and changes to heaven form. Are we not good enough? Are we not brave enough to become something greater than the violence in our nature? Are we not good enough? Or is it all a dream? Are we not good enough? Are we not brave enough to become something greater than the violence in our nature? Are we not good enough? Are we not brave enough? Are we not good enough? Or was it all a dream? The audience didn't say anything at the end of the song, nothing could be heard at all, because everyone was stupefied since on the stage was an angel with golden wings, or rather a leader from heaven whom no one knew. Which is why they were in shock, and what can we say about the leaders, and even more so about Michael, since he was static, watching that white-haired man, and what can we say about heaven, which seemed lonely there, since everyone was absolutely silent. There were angels who even fainted, and Gabriel almost fainted when he saw those wings. The Gremory and DXD groups, plus their partners, were pale since they now knew the person who caused the injuries from the beating received weeks ago. After a while there was applause and cheers from the audience, and Azazel had to go through again. Azazel. Alright boy, you guys move on to the next round, staring at Issei. Issei. Of course, staring at Azazel. Telematically tells him. Tell Sekiryuutei and the other leaders not to even think about acting or doing anything stupid, please. Azazel. But that said, the remaining bands went through again, this time leaving of which the crying boys went through again. Now it's Issei's turn. Azazel. Well now it's your turn, Unforgiven. Issei. Of course. Now wait and like the song because it will be very different from all the previous ones. Create sound circles and starts playing the guitar. Owner. Slipknot Devil and I. Undo these chains, my friend. I'll show you the rage I've hidden. Perish the sacrament. Swallow, but nothing's forgiven. You and I can't decide which of us was taken for granted. Make amends. Some of us are destined to be outlived. Your station is abandoned. Fool you cause I know what you've done. Sensation, deprivation. You should have burned when you turned on everyone. So step inside, see the devil and I. Too many times, we've let it come to this. Step inside, see the devil and I. I know you'll find your answers in the end. Step inside, see the devil and I. You'll realize I'm not your devil anymore. So step inside, see the devil and I, see the devil and I. Once again, absolute silence. Every spectator of that song stood with their mouths open, some had faces of surprise, others of pleasure and disgust, but only in some people was fear seen in their eyes, because not everyone knew what those wings meant and who they belonged to. In the case of the Gremory and DXD along with their partners, they paled even more when they saw those wings come out and they couldn't move from their place, more than seeing the black-haired man finish the song. The faction leaders were stoic because they didn't know what to do, they knew it would be stupid to attack at that moment, and because of the message given by Azazel, the black-haired man wasn't afraid of starting a fight, it seemed like he wanted to avoid it. The pig-tailed Mao couldn't take her eyes off the black-haired man because she was alert to any aggressive movement on his part. In the sky now it was chaos, because the person who possessed the golden wings now came to show the wings of his worst enemy. The leader of the Yaukase couldn't utter a word because she knew those wings and couldn't stop thinking about the things that would happen if that black-haired man were her enemy. Azazel walks onto the stage but stops a considerable distance from Issei. It was a good song, kid, and from what I see, the audience liked it a lot, so much so that you shut them up, so you move on to the next round. Issei. Fine, thanks. He speaks to him telepathically. I hope you take my advice into account and don't do anything stupid. I don't want to start a fight right now. Azazel. Surprised. Well, with that pass from the black metal there are only bands left, so we can start the final phase of this contest, which consists of raising the request for applause and cheers if you want to pass, so do your best. And with that said, let the crying boys come in. And so the remaining bands passed, of which only the crying boys managed to pass, being encouraged by the Gremory, who did not stop shouting that they loved them, etc. Azazel. Well, let the last band pass Unforgiven if you do us the honor. Issei and the others went to the front of the stage and he stood in front of the microphone. Well, I hope you like it. Boner. Avenge sevenfold natural born killer. One snap for the dying. One click to end the day. Another story with a mangled scene. It couldn't happen any other way. You want to talk about it? I'm begging you to walk in my shoes anytime. Watch the clock till you unwind. You want to cry about it? It's making me consider that I lost my mind. The way I see you must be blind. So this is the world you left behind. This is the guilt that consumes you. So die alone. This is the one thing that I won't do. So say your prayers. Cause I ain't leaving here without you. And bribe me with money. And shower me with shame. Another killer from a broken home until you covered me with manic fame. You wanna know about it? Well, I'ma be bucking with you every time. Story broken, you're behind. And when you ask about it, you can rest assured I'll give you my best side. Seems we all have friends to find. So this is the hate I've been born to. Full are the tales of the untrue. So die alone. This is the one thing that I won't do. So say your prayers. Cause I ain't leaving here without you. And I'm waitin' for the days to slowly pass me by. And all the promises I'll find. No hesitating, you pull the trigger now, your story's left behind. I know you wanna see me fry, like my soul you won't survive. So die alone. This is the one thing that I won't do. So say your prayers. Cause I ain't leaving here without you. The die unknown. Would crush the fish lens we all see through. The kill the glare. Expose the ugliness we hold true. When the song ended, everyone applauded and asked for another song because they liked it a lot. Even a certain group of Gregory liked it. Azazel takes the stage. Azazel. Well, I think this is a tie, since both got the same score on their last song, so to decide the winner, both the boys who cry and the black metal will have to get a higher score than the other on their next song, but they will be asked to have at least the score they just got now, so give it your best good luck. So the crying boys passed again, they managed to pass the minimum score by percent, so they believed they would win. So it was again the turn of Issei's group, which went on stage, but before that he told them something. Issei. Okay, we've made it this far, so I don't care if I win or lose, but what do you guys say? Turns to look at his gang, do we give it our all? Or do we back off after this? Lucifer? Let's demolish it all. Jesus? You know we have to win. Triexa? Let's show what we're capable of. Issei? Alright. This will be our last song, so here we go. Onder. Metallica all nightmare long. 1-2. Issei takes out his devil wings. Crawl from the wreckage one more time. Horrific memory twists the mind. Dark, rugged, cold and hard to turn. Path of destruction, feel it burn. Still life. Incarnation. Still life. Infamy. Hallucination. Heresy. Still you run. What's to come? What's to be? Satan spreads his wings and takes off his cloak. Cause will hunt you down without mercy. Hunt you down all nightmare long. Feel us breathe upon your face. Feel our shift, every move we trace. Hunt you down without mercy. Hunt you down all nightmare long, yeah. Luck runs. And you crawl out again. But your luck runs out. Luck runs out. 1-2. Issei switches to heaven mode and takes out his wings and halo. The light that is not light is here. To flush you out with your own fear. You hide, but will be found. Release your grip without a sound. Still life. Immolation. Still life. Infamy. Hallucination. Heresy. Still you run. What's to come? What's to be? Jesus takes off his wings and halo and takes off his cloak. Cause will hunt you down without mercy. Hunt you down all nightmare long. Feel us breathe upon your face. Feel our shift, every move we trace. Hunt you down without mercy. Hunt you down all nightmare long, yeah. Luck runs. And you crawl out again. But your luck runs out. Giza saca fuego azul de la bateria, Issei y satanas empas en seca rayos de la guitarra. 1-2-3-4. Issei changes to his brown hair and takes out his dragon wings alongside Triexa. Then you crawl back in. Into your obsession. Never to return. This is your confession. Hunt you down without mercy. Hunt you down all nightmare long. Feel us breathe upon your face. Feel our shift, every move we trace. Hunt you down without mercy. Hunt you down all nightmare long, yeah. Luck runs. And you crawl out again. But your luck runs out. Luck runs out. Issei and Triexa release black fire from their guitars. End of song. To say that the entire supernatural world was silent would be an understatement. The entire supernatural world was completely mute because they could not believe what they were seeing. On the other hand, the factions that did not belong to the biblical faction were in disbelief, and there were more than who fainted when they recognized those two people who took off their cloaks, but they could not recognize the girl because they only concluded that she was a dragon. And they could not recognize the boy who showed the three different wings. The Yaokai faction was still, it looked like a curfew, but with the difference that there were people on the street, since no one was moving, everyone was looking closely at that brown-haired man, since they didn't know who he was, and they didn't know why he had the wings of an angel and a devil. The fallen faction was in disarray, with people fainting all over the place, people running around, and a few people quickly thinking about where to hide, so their father wouldn't find them. Well, everyone had recognized a person who had taken out those golden wings, and they didn't want to believe it, but seeing those wings and halo again after centuries made them believe it and get scared of what she would do to them when she found out what they had done in her absence. A certain fallen angel called the hexiest and most beautiful of all had her eyes open, tears in her eyes and her mouth completely dry when she saw those people who took out the golden ones, and her impression and tears increased when she saw how one of those people changed into a very familiar brown hair, but she came out of her impression, dried her tears, and decided to get ready to go with her father. The sky was completely silent, no one in heaven could believe what they were seeing, because in front of them was the image of their father on the stage. After the song ended, shouts of joy could be heard, plus the fall to the ground of several angels fainting from not being able to believe what they had just witnessed. The faction of the demons could not believe it, the entire underworld remained static and silent at the end of the song, because with each surprise given in that song, it only increased the time it would take them to react. The elders of the demonic council did not stop trembling and sweating cold for those two people with golden angel wings and those devil wings. Since those people believed them dead, and especially the one with devil wings, since they knew what you are capable of and what he would do when he found out what they did. Rest and new information. Hyodo House. Issei is seen waking up thanks to the rays of light courtesy of the window that had the curtain half open, but he was not waking up alone, but he was waking up together with his super powerful dragon, as he sometimes called her in a funny and sweet way, which upon receiving the rays of light only snuggled more to the body of her stuffed dragon, as she called her in a tender and loving way, but everything was interrupted thanks to the noise that was heard downstairs, so they had to wake up. But not before a good morning kiss and a quick shower that almost ended in something more if it weren't for Issei who held back, because if not they would have taken a long time to go down. Once the shower was over they proceeded to change, Trihexa some jeans and a black half-sleeved blouse along with black sneakers, Issei only dressed in a white dress shirt and black jeans, along with sneakers of the same color. They went downstairs and great was his surprise to see his parents, along with Jesus and Satan laughing at the dining room table. They did not understand why, but Issei had a bad feeling. Saladial. Ha 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 ha, and to think that someone like him did that kind of thing, apparently he didn't waste his time. Below him. I already imagined it, but I didn't expect it to be that way as a child. Ha ha ha, he was a pervert, but that doesn't mean he didn't do a lot of stupid things because of those strange tastes. Jijiji, he was a good boy, only his perversion made him do many strange things and caused him different and funny situations to see. When they got down they could see Jesus and Saladia laughing and laughing, together with the brown-haired boy's parents looking at a notebook which Issei recognized and was about to take from the aforementioned, since he did not want his girlfriend to see the contents of it. Triexa. What are you talking about? Why are you laughing so much? It's the first time I've seen you laugh like that. Saladial. Oh Triexa-chan, this is why, points to the notebook, they are the photos of Issei as a young man and as a child. Below him. Mr. Hyodo was showing us photos of Issei since, even though he told us about his life in the sealed dimension, we were never able to see what he looked like, we could only imagine him. That's why we asked them about photos of him since we were curious, but we found out that he was a breast pervert and they told us anecdotes from his days before we met him, and it must be said that even though I knew about him, I didn't expect him to be as much as calling him teenager haha. Triexa. Huh? Why do you say that? Did he do something wrong? Saladial. Oh, how do you think? He only spent his time spying on girls in the bathrooms and thinking about breasts and above all being chased by every girl who found him red-handed I can't anymore Triexa. Well, it's understandable I think. Below him. This is not understandable, shows him a picture of the op-eye dragon, lol you have to admit it's funny. Triexa. If it's true sorry darling but it's so funny and you look cute like that. As for Issei, he went to curl up in a ball in the corner, well he had a depressing aura around him, and don't even mention Drake, he was crying because of such an embarrassing moment in past, plus the brown-haired boy was secretly thinking of a way to get revenge on those two. Okay, let's leave my poor Issei aside. Why don't you guys sit down and have breakfast because you must be dead tired from what happened last night you. Triexa. Pages, but what things does Ka-san say because you must be tired from last night, blushing. Issei. Yes mom, why do you say that? Looking away. MDI. Fufu mother instincts, I feel like I'm going to be a possible grandmother, darling, just that. Issei turns blue upon hearing that and Triexa blushes upon imagining it. TDI. Okay, you better sit down and have breakfast, it's going to get cold. And to all this that they will do from now on son. Issei. Well, I had planned to go with Triexa for clothes because we can dress with magic, it wouldn't be bad to have some clothes apart from seeing how the city has changed because yesterday we couldn't because we came quickly. Saladial. You guys go Issei, my brother and I will stay and rest a little longer, we do not want to give knowledge of our return yet, we want to rest and recover what is left of our powers before we show ourselves. Elohim. Don't worry, it will only be a few days, at most a week or two of rest, since from what I've seen, the world is not well, let's say. Issei. Okay then, let's go, love. Triexa. Sure, we just finished breakfast and I'm going to get my bag. TDI. Son, here, gives him some money. Issei. Don't worry dad, thanks having the power of Elohim I can create many things, among them money appears in his hand, so don't worry also I want to talk to you and mom about something, but it will be as soon as we return, okay? TDI. Wow I'm proud of you son, smiles, and when you get back we'll talk. After breakfast v. Issei and Triexa said goodbye to go shopping, not without Saladial's joke that God be with them, which made everyone laugh, who proceeded to go to the mall, but not before visiting the leisure places that were on the way until they arrived at the mall, which brings us to the current situation where we see the brown-haired boy standing inside a lingerie store, which Triexa forced him to enter with the excuse that she wanted his opinion. Issei. Damn, why did I have to accept because of you, everyone is looking at me with bad looks and a look of desire. Greg. Well, what did you expect you've been shopping for 2 hours and every time you tell her she'd look cute in a piece of clothing, she runs like crazy to try it on for you and buy it, but you decided to tell her she'd look sexier in lingerie and drag you here, and to top it all off, she told you to wait inside so she can show you the pieces, and to your bad luck, there are more women than products in this store, since you don't want people to look at you badly and with some lust. Plus every time she leaves the fitting room you can't take your eyes off her and saliva comes out of your mouth until she gets into the fitting room again, my god, your perversion is no longer general, but you still have that idiot look sometimes. Issei. Growls, I know, but I can't deny that she would look beautiful in the clothes I see in stores, and I didn't think she would take that black and white lingerie thing so seriously, and as for being perverted, you know that I'm not openly perverted anymore, I'm only with her and I can't help it, she's too sexy and beautiful for me not to see her like that. Besides you're complaining if you're the same now with your sadism, you already look like a serial killer every time you see something related to blood and fights. Greg. Hey. Satan gave me that blame him and it's not my intention, but with that deadly combo game I felt like doing those combos on Albion hahaha, yes. His head will be in front of me hahaha. Issei. I think the training affected you more than I thought, with a drop on his neck when he heard Dreg. But he is brought out of his thoughts when he hears his name called. Triexa. Issei. Come on, let's go. I'm hungry. I've already finished paying. Issei. Okay, let's go eat something. So they continued with their shopping, which were interrupted when the brown-haired boy saw in the distance a certain couple of king and queen, which were Zona and Tsubaki, who were coming towards them. The brown-haired boy had no idea how things were with his friends and acquaintances. Along with the people for whom he had feelings for which the brown-haired boy changed his appearance behind a shelf where there were no people to heaven mode so that they would not recognize him, since with white hair and golden eyes, they would not know who he is in addition to the different aura. Triexa seeing the brown-haired boy's quick change did not say anything. She understood the reason because she also saw them and did not want to kill them, thinking that they also made the brown-haired boy suffer. So they continued on their way as if nothing had happened, as they passed by them they didn't say go on and didn't turn to look at them, although the brown-haired man really wanted to go with her, but it was different for the girls, since as they passed by him, they felt a strange feeling, which is why they turned to look at them, since they felt that they were not human, and they were not a simple thing due to the strong aura that they weakly emanated. Although the black-haired woman's aura seemed familiar to them along with the white-haired man's appearance, but they preferred to leave it for later since they had things to do and were short on time. The couple continued with their own business, they didn't take much into account what had happened and proceeded to finish walking around the city. In the end they arrived home, where they were received by the chestnut's parents, Saladial and Elohim, who were watching a movie. After dinner, the brunette proceeded to talk to his parents, partner, and friends about something he had planned. Issei. Well, the reason why I wanted to talk to everyone is the following, I wanted to know your opinion about moving dad, mom. MDI. Why do you say that, son? Is something wrong here? Issei. No mama, but as soon as we announce that we've returned, there'll be a huge commotion. Elohim and Salatin will be there too. Well, that shouldn't affect us, their return will, since they have a large number of enemies from other factions. Since I'm their main successor, I'll become the enemy of many, along with those of Jesus and Satan. Therefore, I would not want them to come and do anything to you when they find out about you. I could not forgive myself for that, which is why I want to move to a place far from here where they could not find you. Elohim. Issei is right, as soon as our enemies find out that we are alive, they will try to take action against us, and in addition in this time they could have become stronger, but when they find out that Issei is the one who inherited our powers, they will try to eliminate him, and one way to do it would be through blackmail with you in between. Satan. Well, we could protect them, we always need to be more secure, since we don't know what they're capable of, and if we let our guard down, they could take advantage of the situation to take action. PDI. Okay, son, when would we move? As long as you're calmer, we'll do what you suggest. Issei. Thanks dad, the move will be in a week, I want to find a good place and put the house there, plus I have to prepare the defenses of this one, in case we leave them alone. The other thing I wanted to talk to everyone about is that I plan on going to the underworld. Trihexa. But why, love? You have no business being there, do you? Issei. I need to catch up on what's going on. Although I already found out what happened with the girls from the DXD group in Gremory, with a hurt look, does it not mean that my other friends or girls for whom I have feelings have done the same or yes? Also, the group they were fighting against that day was somewhat strong, and I don't know what plans or motives they have to cause wars or fights again, and if they are plotting something bad I have to stop them. Triexa. We've already talked about that the world forgot you, they did it, you shouldn't save them, with tears in her eyes. Issei. And I had already promised you my love, I will never leave you aside or walk away from you, not like that bastard, I truly love you and it will never change, and I had already told you about the girls for whom I had feelings, although some forgot me and moved on with their lives with all their right to do so, even though it hurts me to admit it, it does not mean that all of them have done so, and I have to defend the world my love, because this is where we will live and become a family. Right? Which is why I have to defend my future with you. PDI. Wow, looks at Issei fixedly with a sparkle in his eyes, he has matured quite a bit, he is no longer that teenager afraid of love, now he is a man open to his feelings. Greg. Sniff sniff, he's already become a man, I'm proud of him. Triexa. Looks into his eyes with tears in her eyes, I know, but I'm still scared, I don't want to go through the same thing again. Issei. Hugs her, yes my life, don't worry, I will never leave you, I love you. After a few moments he speaks again. Well, that's why I plan to go to the underworld tomorrow, I'll go investigate what has happened in these years, who will accompany me? Satan. Of course, I also want to investigate what happened to her also, what they did to the others, with a serious look. Issei. Of course, friend, but remember no killing anyone, please I want to rest a little longer. Jesus. Haha, of course Issei, we'll change forms, and we'll also suppress our powers and aura, so as not to cause problems, and if something happens to my brother, you're more than enough to stop him. Issei. He scratches his neck, I know, but I don't want to fight with him over something like that, and if he needs it, I'll help him kill them, because I also support him. MDI. Sigh, I still can't believe that my son is stronger than Satan and Elohim, never, no matter how crazy I dreamed, could I anticipate it. Elohim. Lady, you don't have to feel weird, your son was already strong before meeting us, just with our training we polished his strength, and we also gave him a push with our powers, just that. Triexa. Let's put that aside, then tomorrow we'll leave for the underworld to investigate, we'll leave early, so let's go to sleep. Satan. We will go to sleep, but you two, pointing to Issei and Triexa, I doubt it very much, kukuku, evil smile. The two mention blush and look away, they wouldn't deny it, they won't sleep tonight, and many others after, but they were ashamed to say it yet. So another day passed at the Hyodo house, but things were a little lively in another part of town. I still can't believe it, I don't want to do it. Well, don't do it, you know very well that he would have refused, and you're still waiting for him. Yes, but they don't want to understand, for them he is dead, and his bloodline is more important than the happiness of his own family. And why don't you look for a way to get away? I've already tried, but they cheat in every possible way and I lose. We can only wait for a miracle to happen. Speaking of miracles, why don't you tell me how it went? What can I say, at first it was very nice, he was a gentlemanly man, everything I had dreamed of, or at least most of it, as soon as we got married everything was rosy, but since his friend appeared everything went to hell, he didn't pay attention to me anymore, he spoke to me in a bad way, there was a time when he raised his hand to me. Surprised, why hadn't you told me that? You would have fixed it immediately. Serious. I still loved him, I just thank God, ouch. That I didn't get pregnant. I don't know what would have become of me if that had happened. Well, you have to be happy about that now, nothing ties you to that idiot, and to think that from a gentleman he turned into a complete jerk. He's not bad, he's still the same, but that girl poisoned his mind according to me. I'm the only person he treats like that, that's why I decided to ask for a divorce. And to think that was months ago and he's still causing your current state. It's just that a small part of me still loves him, even though I found out that girl is pregnant, I still love him. I wonder what he would do if he were here, wistful smile. I'm sure I'd kick his ass, haha. Smiles, yes, the safest and most certain thing is that you wouldn't have ended up with your ex, but with him. Why do you say that? Blushing. My friend, I know you, and just like me you have had feelings for him. Don't even remind me, because of my insecurity, I could never say anything to him because I was afraid he would leave me aside to be with his other girls. You know, it wouldn't be like that, I thought the same thing too, but as soon as I started going out with him, he showed me why all the other girls were so in love, even though due to the immaturity at that time they fought like crazy old women, they all loved him and didn't mind sharing it, plus he always gave them all the same attention. I wish I could see him again, besides, I don't know why they did that to him. I was upset at first too, but I thought it over and they were within their rights, they have the right to rebuild their lives, with the risk of him coming back and not being able to be with him. That's why, even though he kept asking you out and making advances, you never accepted him, right? Of course I thought it over carefully, and my happiness would be greater if she returns to spend my life with another person. I just hope that if she returns, she takes other people's things well, I don't expect there to be problems. I don't think he's vengeful, he never was like that. What worries me is that they'll do stupid things as soon as they find out he's back, if he ever does. You have to have faith, remember that he always keeps his promises, and now that you are free and you know that the man you chose was the wrong one, nothing prohibits or prevents you from going with him. You just have to be sincere about your feelings, no matter how small they are, and give yourself a chance. I don't know, Sona, I don't know, what if he doesn't want someone who is already married and who gave herself to another man? Sona. Sometimes I think you don't know him, or that it's your insecurity that's saying such nonsense. Tsubaki, you know that he loves you no matter what their past is, what they've done or what they've been involved in, you know it well just like I do. Issei is not that kind of person. Tsubaki. If you're right, it's time to let go of this insecurity of mine and try to be happy, smile. Sona. That's how you talk. Meanwhile, in a part of England. It's good to see you girls. It's good to see you after last time, how did it go? Well, what can I say, I work here and I work there, it's the only thing that keeps me away from my thoughts. You don't have to be so depressed anymore, girls, I'm sure he'll come back, he always keeps his promises, he always did, and I know he will this time. Yes, he promised us, but what about? Willich, you have to stop being so negative, you love him too much like us, and even though we spent a short time with him, we saw and learned many things about him, and we know that he wouldn't like to see us sad, he would like to see us smile, remember Issei. Serafal. I know it's because of those things and more that I fell in love with him, but Gabriel, how can you be so happy all the time? Both Penemu and I are always sad when we remember him, why aren't you? Gabriel. Because I trust him, he said that whenever I was in danger he would rescue me, and that's what he did, he rescued me more than once when I was in danger, and he told me he would come back, that's why I trust that he would come back, and I know that if I wait for him and keep thinking about him and loving him like I have for years, I will be happy when he comes back. Serafal. I also believe he will return, but I miss him a lot. As soon as he left I discovered that he had become someone important in my life. I don't know how Penemu misses him, but he is better than me, I'm so jealous. Penemu? I miss him too, although I was honest with myself and said that I was in love with him over time, although my love for him did not decrease. I think that we also have the right to live our lives without him, we have the right to be happy. I tried to go out with more boys, but I went back to where I started with men before I met him, they are all garbage, except for him of course, they only want hex, power, social position. I could notice in their eyes the desire they had to do it with me, or just the interest in saying that they slept with me or having a high position in Gregory. I know he had his perverted side, but despite that he only had perversion towards my breasts, sigh, he never saw me wanting to sleep with me, or to gain social position, plus he always saw me as a woman, and he showed me he wasn't lying the times he saved me from death and from more men who tried to go too far with me. Which is why I understood that there is Gabriel. Maybe Chan, you just have to be patient, he will return, you know it, deep down in your heart, and unconsciously you know that he will return, just trust him, like you have always done since you met him. Serafal. You're right girls, smiles, thanks. Looks at the sky, come back soon Icon. In Kyoto. Mother, please don't be sad anymore. I don't like seeing you like this. I know, my daughter, but every time I remember it, I get like this, I miss him so much. I also miss Otu-san, but I know she will come back, that's why even though it saddens me to remember it, I know she will come back to be with us. Oh my Kunu, my dear daughter, I know your daddy will return, but I miss him. Kunu. I know, but we have to be patient. We know he wouldn't like to see us like this. Isaka. I know daughter, I know, and forgive me for not being able to do much about your engagement. Kunu. He don't worry mom, smiles, I trust that dad will come to fix everything. Isaka. Yes, I hope so too. I don't want you to go through what I went through, especially at such a young age, I still can't believe they want to marry you off it, my daughter. Kunu. Yes, it's something sick, but I know everything will be fine. I have faith in my dad. Yes gentlemen, Kunu will be years old here, so Issei met her when he was years old. Isaka. And how have you seen the other girls? Kunu. Well, what can I tell you, mom? They've already made their lives. Kuroka just told me she's pregnant along with Kaneko-chan. Isaka. Wow, really? I thought I was one of those girls who would wait for him. Kunu. Me too, but as soon as she found someone who treated her well and made her fall in love again, she decided to stay with him. They've been in a relationship for over years now, and her dream of repopulating her species finally came true. Isaka sighs, I just hope she doesn't regret it when she gets back. Kunu. She won't be the only mother. Those who don't have children yet, like Rossweisse-san, Lefei-san or Ravel-san, could fix their situation and get back with him if he wants. But the others already have families, I don't think they can go back to dad. Isaka. I know, but I still don't think Issei would like the idea of them leaving their husbands to go back to him. Or that they return with everything and children with him, although we are a similar case, it is very different from their current situation. Kunu. Of course, mom, I met him when I was years old, and what happened with that guy is something that both we and dad hate, but they already have husbands who love them, and what would their husbands say if they decide to go with him? I don't think they'll take it very well. Isaka. Let's just hope everything goes well and that he returns before month of your wedding. Sees the sky and remembers Issei returns. Kunu. Also sees the sky, come back dad, I miss you. In a temple in Kuo. Akeno. Fufufu, I'm ready. See a painting he made. And that's when a communication circle appears on the floor showing Barakiel. Barakiel. Daughter. Akeno. Dad, what can I help you with? Coldly. Barakiel. Will you still be angry with me? Come on, daughter. It's been so many years. You must accept reality, he won't be coming back. Akeno. Of course he will come back. He promised, and I don't plan on marrying anyone else but him, I don't love anyone else but him, and I don't plan on meeting another man for romantic purposes. Barakiel. Come on, daughter, he's eager to meet you and chat with you. He's a good boy, and I consider him like a son. Akeno. You also considered him as a son, right? He made us talk again, to forgive each other for what happened with mom, head down as he remembers his mother. Barakiel. Come on, daughter. Even though I consider him a son and a savior, I can't let you spend your life alone. I want you to be happy. Akeno. Happy? If you wanted me to be happy, you wouldn't be asking me to meet your friend. Instead, you'd be helping me wait for him. And keep in mind that if it weren't for the fact that I know he wouldn't like it if I stopped talking to you again, he wouldn't even let you see me. I appreciate the food you sent me, but I'm not going to do what you asked. Barakiel. Sigh, okay, I won't insist anymore, I just ask that you don't hate me, okay? I only wanted the best for you, and since I want you to be happy, I won't try to convince you anymore, and I will support you in this. Akeno. Thanks dad. Barakiel. You're welcome, daughter. You know that I only want your happiness. And how good the painting turned out, he sees the painting. Akeno. Thank you, it's one of many fufu, but I just hope to be able to be in a painting like that one day with him, nostalgic. Barakiel. You'll see, one day you'll be in a landscape like this, leaning on your shoulder watching the sunset. Akeno. Smiles. This is crazy, and a night of socks. Mansion Gremory. Rias. So what happened with X? I understand that in the future Rias would name the son she has with Issei that, so she will name him that here V. Howda. Don't laugh, sighs, that kid is a bad boy. I just got word that he's in detention at the academy. They didn't tell me many details, but from what I understood, he got into a fight with a group of kids and almost got killed. Rias. Sigh, I don't know what to do with that kid anymore, he's only years old, but he's such a troublemaker, I don't know how he became like that. Howda. We have to discipline him, we have to give him a good punishment, so he stops doing that. Rias. But don't you think that if we treat him badly he'll take it out on the others? Howda. I wasn't talking about a light punishment, I was talking about a divine punishment. Rias. What? How could you think of that? It's true that he deserves punishment, but he's only years old. Howda. Enough. Rias is our son, what we're talking about. I was just warning you what I'm going to do with him. I can't keep allowing him to behave the way he does." Rias almost killed her classmates. "She's in a school for high-powered devils. Your power of destruction plus my power of emptiness gave her a combination that almost no one can stop. If he's like this at this age, what will happen when he grows up? What if, in a rebellion, he joins some terrorist group or something? You know they'll ask us for advice. How will they view it? They'll see it as a threat and kill him. I can't allow something like this to happen. I have to make him see reason once and for all. Since he found out about your engagement to the Sekiryuutei, he's been behaving this way." Rias lowers her head to remember the brunette. It was inevitable that he would find out at some point, but I don't know why he took it so badly. I tried to explain to him what happened to him, but he wouldn't let me explain it well. I don't want my son to be killed, crying. Hyodo. Calm down, laugh, that won't happen. He approaches and hugs her, so she cries in his embrace. I will talk to the first one. If he doesn't want to understand, I will take him to heaven with Zion and Lennox so they can help me with the punishment. He will receive divine punishment, but not so strong as to kill him. Rias. It's okay. In a school in the underworld. Director. Do you know the situation you have caused? Old man, let me go, avoid the chatter, in a moment they will come for me, and we will all act as if nothing had happened. Principal. Hits desk. You know what you did. You almost killed 6 of your classmates. All because they were talking about the Sekiryuutei. Gets up from his chair. Don't mention that name in front of me if you don't want to end up like them. Principal. Enough. You're expelled. We'll see about that. Kuda gets into a dog fighting stance and arrives in a magic circle and sees his son in a fighting stance. Hyodo. Stop it. What do you think you're doing? You have to respect your elders. I told you before. I don't care who it is. If they dare to oppose me, I'll just kill them. I don't care if it's you or mom. He didn't finish speaking because his father punched him, causing him to fall to the floor, bleeding from his nose. Hyodo. Turns to look at the director. Sorry for the inconvenience, Mr. Director. How are the kids? Director. They are stable at Citri Hospital. One almost died in surgery. I was thinking of punishing the boy just for what happened, but he dared to offend me and want a confrontation with me, which is why I can't continue allowing him to study here. I hope and understand if he doesn't respect me, and I'm sorry for what I said, but I don't know what I could do with his other classmates or tutors. Hyodo. Lowers his head sadly. I understand, don't worry, I hope and can meet the parents of the children harmed. I would like to talk to them so that X can apologize properly. And if there is nothing else to attend to, Mr. Director, with your permission, I will leave. Director. Go ahead. Goes to X. Boy, you're very young, you don't have to act like that just because of the family background. But that said, X and Hyodo go in a magic circle. In the 4th heaven. Zion. And what did you expect Lennox to do? Lennox. Well, at least you should give him a spanking. I don't know if he misbehaved, you have to reprimand him. Zion. You know I can't. I'm not capable of hitting a child, especially if it's my own son. I don't know how you manage to raise your children. Lennox. It's not very difficult. Xenovia and I support each other, and if the children get into any mischief, we just scold them with conversations. The only time the children had to be spanked, Xenovia was the first to do it and I was the last. We had no problems with her and I falling because we gave them with love so that they would be better semi-angels. Zion. Sigh. Now that I think about it, neither Asia nor I could do that. We are very soft with our son, and since he found out that Asia was in a relationship with the Sekiryuutei, he has started to investigate everything he can about him. I'm surprised that at only years old, he knows how to investigate so well. Lennox. What did you expect? Their kid's mind did the same thing as soon as they found out their possible father was Issei. Azuna. Approaches them. What are you guys talking about so much? Lennox. What the kids did when they found out about the girl's relationship with Issei. Azuna. Those children are very energetic and intelligent. My daughter, as soon as she saw a photo of her mother with Issei, she started jumping up and down, saying that her mother knew the hero of the world. Hahaha. Zion. I don't know how they can talk like that to someone who saw their wives naked, with an angry face. Lennox. Come on Zion, you know what the girls are like and what Issei was like. Also, since you didn't know him, you didn't know what he was like. He wasn't a bad person, he was an excellent guy. It's thanks to him that we were able to meet the girls and introduce you to Asia. Azuna. Yes, and you don't have to get upset since he never did anything bad to the girls, despite his fetishes, he never did anything to them. Zion. Just thinking about him bothers me. Azuna. Better be careful not to fall for being jealous. Hahaha. The boys were going to continue talking, but they saw a magic circle being created near them with the Gremory clan logo, so they assumed it was their friend. Hyodo. Hi guys, how are you? Boys. Hi. Lennox. And what's the reason for your visit and with company? Goes to X. Howda. Excuse me guys, but I would like to ask you that favor I told you about before, it's time. Azuna. Really? Zion. Of course. It seems that it was already necessary, he sees X looking at them in a cold and threatening manner. So they followed Zion to a house where upon entering there was a circle drawn on the floor with a chair in the middle of it, surrounded by different symbols and drawings. X, upon seeing the place, didn't know what it was, but he didn't have time to ask because his father sat him down on the chair in the place and immobilized him with magic. Howda. Goes to X, son, please I want the best for you, we don't like the way you behave, please son, you have to go back to being the happy and loving child you were. X. What do you know? You don't know anything. You don't know how bad I feel every time others say that my mother went off on a bitch with someone else as soon as the Sekiryuutei was sealed with a Triexa. You don't know the mockery I had to endure when they told me that my mother was easy with that guy who let him do lewd things in front of everyone and that my mother was so many things, I couldn't stand it anymore, that's why I hate every person who mentions that name or mother. But since it seems that what your wife did doesn't bother you, I'm not going to let them talk bad about mom or make fun of her. Howda. Aw son, I already knew that about your mother, and even though we fell in love quickly shortly after he left and the things they said about us we were and are happy, and that's what you were born from. X. I don't care. I plan to get revenge on that guy for what he did to mom. And I already know how I'm going to do it. Howda. You won't do anything. He has nothing to do with it. He's already in the past. Besides, there's no one you can harm who has any connection with him. X. Of course. There are two people who are closely related to him and they are the two people who gave him life. I plan to kill them for giving birth to such a guy who did that to mom. The angels and Kauda are surprised to hear everything X says, they didn't expect a child of only years old to behave like that. Ria's past wasn't to kill the parents of Ria's ex-boyfriend, or was it? So Kauda could do nothing but begin the ritual. Kauda. Sorry son but this is for your own good. From those words, screams were heard from inside the room, they didn't stop for a while. Mansion Phoenix. Ravel. Ani-sama. What can I do? Razor. Ravel I warned you, didn't I? I told you what kind of man Sander was. I told you he wasn't good for you. Bad with him you were only going to suffer, but you decided to marry him and soon the problems started shouting, insults, blows, deception. I intervened many times Ravel, but now you understand why I warned you? Ravel. Sniff sniff now I understand Ani-sama, but what can I do? I can't stand it anymore. He thinks I don't notice or that I don't know what he's doing. Every day he comes home smelling like a different woman, he comes home drunk and all he knows is how to mistreat me and he only wants me for heck sniff sniff. Razor. Ah, Ravel, you have to separate yourself from him. Before he ends up killing you or getting you pregnant and you can't leave him alone. Ravel. That's why I'm asking you for help, brother, because I'm pregnant. Razor. What? Ravel. I realized yesterday I haven't told anyone else. Razor. For the love of Satan now what do? We can't make him divorce you for the baby. You could only separate from him unless he dies, but we can't kill him, they would realize who it was. Ravel. Please Ani-sama help me, I don't know what to do anymore, I don't want my son to grow up with a father like that. Razor. Does he already know? Ravel. Not yet. I don't want to tell him because I don't know how he'll react. I once asked him if we could have a child and he got hysterical and said that he doesn't want brats. Razor. Let me think of something so you can separate from him. For now don't tell him anything to anyone else. I don't want him to find out from third parties and give you a bad blow that could hurt both of you. Ravel. Thank you Ani-sama. Razor. You're welcome sister, you're welcome, but please do what I tell you because you didn't listen to me about Sander, now you can't be with him. Ravel. Head down, if I know now I know the mistake I made by not waiting for him, I was stupid, but do you think he'll come back? Razor. Yes, Ravel created it, strokes his head. He always keeps his promises, hahaha. I learned that the hard way. Ravel. Well Ani-sama I have to go otherwise Sander will get angry with me for not finding me at home. He leaves in a magic circle after saying goodbye. Razor. Stares at where Ravel was and thinks about a certain chestnut. Come back soon Issei my sister needs you. And a departure in Asgard. Rossweisse. He now I have the whole collection. Jin. There's love for you and your obsessions with yen items he. RW. Leave me alone. You know I like those stores. I don't know why you and Yakumo don't like them. Jin. Our son only likes toys, he has nothing else in mind. Rose. RW. Ah, that's true, he's only years old, he remembers his son playing. Jin. But I don't understand why when he left you were still sad and now in just weeks you're already fine. I don't understand you, woman. RW. Because letting go of my baby is hard but I know he'll come back. Jin. Rose just went on summer vacation with a drop in his neck. RW. And. He's my baby. What if something happens to him or he's hungry? Jin. Oh no, there it goes again, he better leave his wife going crazy before she gets hit with a frying pan. And to think it's only been a few days since the fight with that guy I have to train. I feel like something's coming and it has to do with that guy. I have to defend them just like he did with her at the time. He goes to train. In a part of Italy. The Fae. I already told you no. I don't want another baby right now. Axel. Come on, love. Looks at her lasciviously, we have to take advantage of Arkham's growth so we can enjoy our moments and give him a sister this time. The Fae. No. You don't take care of him, you just go to work and hang out with your friends. You're never home, you just want to have Hex, and that's all you look for me for. I don't want to have another child until you change and prove yourself a good husband and father. Where is the man I fell in love with? Axel. You have him standing in front of you and he's the same one that makes you feel on cloud 9. The Fae. Thinks about it, yeah, right, minutes and it's over. It's a miracle I got pregnant with so little time. Now he says it's not true, you're just looking for Hex. Tell me, how old is your son? Axel. Obviously, so what do you think? The Fae. It's over, I can't take this anymore, your son is years old. Axel. Oh. The Fae. Let me know the date we met and when we got married. If you tell me right, I'll stay, if not, forget about me and your son. Axel. There are those who wouldn't know the date of the day they got married. That was and. The Fae. Eye twitching, idiot. We got married the same day we met, it just changes the year, idiot. Axel. V. The Fae. I'm leaving. I can't go on like this. Don't come back for us until you change. Axel. Le Fae waits. Look, if I'm sorry, I'll be a better husband and father. And to prove it to you, there's going to be a contest in the underworld broadcast to the entire supernatural world and the winner can ask for anything. I'll win that contest for you and let you claim the prize so you can see how much I love you and how important you are to me, okay? The Fae. Okay, sigh, just this once, but if you become something bad again, believe me, I'll leave you. Goes to the kitchen. Just then Axel's phone rings and he looks at the message that just arrived, which said. Loves. Baby, you've forgotten me a lot. Why don't you come to my house and we'll have fun tonight? You should leave that witch who doesn't value you as she should, and you should come with me because I love you with all my being. Don't let the fact that you have that bastard you don't want stop you. Better come and let's make one between us. What do you say? Axel. Of course I'll stop by tonight. She's supposedly upset with me, so it's the perfect excuse to come see you today. Take a shower, baby, because you'll end up with holes like an inside-out sock. We're going to have such a good time today. In a part of the underworld. Purring sounds could be heard coming from a certain room in an apartment as Kuroka curled up in her bed, purring and stroking her belly, along with her sister who was doing the same. Kuroka. Who would have thought, I finally found happiness. Kaneko. Nasama, thank you for introducing me to Sato-senpai, because that way I could also find happiness, while caressing her belly. Kuroka. It's nothing, sister, we are both happy together and we will be with the man we love. I know you would have done the same. At that moment, a black-haired man enters the room carrying a tray with fish dishes. Whatever fish dish you want, if you want it to be whiskas, then whiskas, and if you want cat chow, then those. Sato. Why are my beautiful kitties talking so much? I hope you're hungry and I'll make you some delicious whiskas and cat chow. I want you to serve whiskas and cat chow. Kaneko. Thanks Sato-senpai, my favorites, XD. Kuroka. You wouldn't have worried, I would have made dinner in a while. Sato. Of course not, you bring our kittens, you must take care of them as best you can. Therefore, they will not make any extra effort. I will take care of the house and the food. If you want, I will continue preparing the same food for them. Kuroka. Thank you very much, Naya. Kaneko. Thanks, Sato-senpai. The sisters put the plate of croquettes aside and go to hug the man who won their heart, and they stay there for a while. Good. Double cap today, what a surprise, huh? I'm also surprised by today's imagination, haha. Understanding everything. Issei's parents' house. Issei, Triexa, Jesus and Saladiel were ready to go to the underworld as they had agreed the day before, so they were already saying goodbye to Issei's parents, but he changed to heaven form in case they met someone who shouldn't know about their return yet. Issei. Okay dad, mom, we're going, we'll be back at dusk. TDI. Of course son, don't worry, we'll be here so be careful. Triexa. See you Oka-san. Odo-san, waves goodbye. Issei. Okay, let's go, guys. He opens a dimensional rift through which he, Triexa, Jesus, and Santon pass. The group leaves the crack in a forest that is quite leafy and dark at first glance, which emits a powerful aura nearby, but they do not pay attention to it and continue walking. Triexa. And what are we doing here, love? Issei. Let's go with an old friend who lives near the forest of relatives. Satan. Wow, the forest of familiars has changed a lot. Before, it was darker and you couldn't be careless or you'd die without knowing what killed you. Jesus. You're right, brother. It's calmer now and I don't sense any auras nearby, just that of a dragon, but it's somewhat far from here, so I don't think it's a problem. Issei. Haha, I just hope it's not Tiamat's because if not Drake will be dead, haha. Drake. Let's pray to Jesus my friend that you are right and that he is far away, and let's pray to Satan that he is not Tiamat, or else not only will I be dead, but you too. Jesus. I have nothing to do with your conflict, Drake, so don't involve me in it. Satan. I say the same thing, it's better to say that I ran here than to stay here, I don't want to get involved with that dragon. Last time I had to run for my life, that angry woman is worse than me and my brother combined. Issei. Hahaha, every angry woman is bad for men, not just her, hahaha. Trihexa, with a black aura, what did you say, honey? I didn't hear you well. Issei, damn. Swallows hard, nothing love nothing. So why did you say that I would be dead too, Drake? Drake. Why? Have you forgotten you're a dragon now? It doesn't matter if you change your form, your aura, or if you're a combination of 3 races now, you're still a dragon, and if she gets close and notices your power, she'll be drawn to you, and that won't be good for you, or am I wrong? Issei, why would it be a problem for me if she was attracted to my power unless? Or hell, turns to look at Triexa quickly, if that happens I'm screwed. Guys, let's get out of here quickly or I'll die sooner than I plan. Drake. Well, until you finally understand. Satan. Hahaha, let's get out of here, I don't want Issei to die because of a girl fight. Triexa. And me? I wouldn't kill Issei. Jesus. We know that, but you know that if another girl tries to make a pass at Issei, you'll kill him now. Triexa. Sees Issei, it's not his fault so I wouldn't get mad at him, and depending on the girl it is, I'll make a decision also that since he is now a full dragon with our powers, in addition to being a candidate for Dragon God, it is inevitable that other girls see him as a potential partner and are attracted to him. What? What do you see? Do I have something on my face? Jesus, Satan, Drake and Issei were wide-eyed, looking at Trihexa with a look of astonishment and disbelief. Satan. Did you hear that? Trihexa-chan saying it's not Issei's fault, accepting that other girls can approach him and consider him a potential partner. God, bro, I think they switched Trihexa-chan with us before we came. Jesus. I agree with you, brother. He approaches Trihexa and touches her forehead, she doesn't have a fever, and I don't notice any distortion in her aura. Drake. Mate, are you sure they didn't change your girl? Issei. What are you saying, Drake? It's the same one we arrived with, but you're right, approaches Trihexa. Are you okay, love? Does anything hurt? Triexa. Idiots. Hit Satan, Jesus and Issei on the head, how dare you say that they switched me? I'm perfectly fine and I'm the same one that the trio of idiots came with. Please understand that being Issei's partner doesn't give me the right to decide who else Issei will be with. It bothers me a little, but I know dragons are polygamous, but as Issei's first wife, I will decide who Issei will stay with and who he won't. Issei. What are you talking about, love? Aside from what I told you, I don't plan on being with anyone else. Triexa. That's what you say, but I feel like apart from those there might be 1 or 2 more that could be added to the list, with an annoyed look. Issei. Come on, love, I find it very difficult for me to notice other women besides those I have feelings for. Besides, I would love them all equally, I couldn't love one more than the others, it wouldn't be fair for you and them, and I also couldn't because I wouldn't be capable, since they would all be too important to me, and since you are my first serious partner, I will let you decide, is that okay? Triexa was crying because of Issei's words, and without warning she rushed to hug him and give him a quick but loving kiss. Triexa. Thank you, love, I really appreciate that a lot, and don't worry, I will only decide when I feel that they are bad or only want you for yourself, as long as that doesn't happen I will not intervene. Issei. Thanks, love, let's continue to get there so we can have the day off and visit Lilith. But that said, they continued walking until they reached a plain with several trees with golden apples, and among these they saw different dragons eating and socializing. These of course, as soon as they saw them they were going to rush to defend their territory, but as soon as they felt the auras of Issei and Trihexa, they lowered their heads in a sign of respect. Issei, seeing this, felt uncomfortable since he was not used to this type of authority, and he did not like it, so he said. Issei. No, lift your heads guys, you don't have to do it, I'm not your leader or anything like that. He was going to approach a group of dragons to make them raise their heads when suddenly a large mass was seen in the sky flying at great speed towards them, and when it arrived, it landed abruptly in front of Issei and was going to attack but stopped at the last moment as he was surprised by the powerful aura that Issei emanated, which although it was small was quite powerful, and told him that he had to bow down before it, but as a former dragon king, his pride did not let him do it so easily. 10. Who are you and what do you want in my territory? If you don't give me a good explanation, I'll have to get you and your friends out of here. Issei. Wow Tanton, this is how you greet me after so much time? Sad face, Smith and I thought we were friends. Tanton. Do I know you? Issei sees this with some anger for not recognizing him, but remembers that he is in the heaven form, so he understood and changed to his original appearance. Issei. Do you recognize me now? Tanton. Issei. Surprised. This one, due to the surprise, almost fell on his tail, but he recovered and lifted Issei in his claw and hugged him. It's great that you're back, Issei, I'm glad to see you again. I knew you could defeat Triexa and get out of there safe and sound. Issei. This I didn't defeat her, haha, well yes, scratches his head, it's a pretty long story, but I better introduce you to my friends, you won't believe who they are. Tanton. Haha, I don't think I can be more surprised today, my friend. Issei. Haha, I wouldn't get so far ahead of myself, dare you. Well, guys, why don't you introduce yourselves? But I don't understand why I don't recognize you. Satan steps forward and says. Satan. Raises his aura enough for Tanton to feel it, I think you remember me now, don't you? Ghoulish smile. Jesus. So you're a Tanton man, huh? For a demon, you're pretty strong now, but you were better before, raises his aura just like Celestial, now you remember me. Trihexa. Wow Tanton, I see you've relaxed quite a bit these years to become a demon and not be able to recognize me, raising her aura a little, just so he could feel it. Tanton. Try Trihexa. Satan and Jesus. But how? You should be dead. Pointing at Jesus and Satan, trembling, and try Trihexa Sama, you should be in that dimension. Issei. Don't worry, they come with me, and you don't have to fear them, they are good people, although Satan will lose his temper later, he, scratching his cheek. Also Trihexa-chan doesn't come to cause problems, in fact she's much better than you imagine. Tanton. What do you mean they're coming with you? And why is Trihexa dressed as a girl? Issei. Oh yeah, sure, I guess you didn't know. Trihexa is actually a woman. She's very beautiful, and my wife. Pulling out his chest with a look of pride. Trihexa, upon hearing Issei, could only blush, and Jesus and Satan smiled at what the brown-haired man had said. Tanton. Wow, I didn't expect that, boy, I congratulate you. It seems that you have become stronger, more mature, and have managed to conquer the Trihexa, that is what it means to be a man. Issei. Haha, it's not that bad, I assure you that anyone would fall in love with her, she's an incredible woman, it's a shame that now she's mine, and whoever tries something with her will only die, with a slight smile. Adam. Hey, calm down Issei, no one will try anything with her, I can assure you that, somewhat nervous because of Issei's smile. And so how did you get out of there and they are alive? Issei. Look at you. An explanation later. And that's how we got out of there. Tanton. Wow, so you're that strong now? Besides being an angel and a devil. Trihexa. And don't forget he's also a dragon god candidate now. Tanton. So that's why I felt like kneeling before you as soon as I felt your aura. Issei. Yes, it's annoying, I don't like being treated like that, I don't want to feel stronger than others. I'm stronger, but not enough to abuse it. Tanton. Smiles, that's how you talk, boy. It seems that you haven't changed at all inside. So, what do I owe your visit to today? Does anyone else know that you're not on the label? Issei. They don't dare, except for my parents and you, no one else knows about our return, and the reason for my visit is because I wanted to know what has happened here in recent years, since I don't want to make it known that I left the label and that the boys are with me, it would create a commotion, and more so if the current situation in the world is bad, it wouldn't be the best decision. Tanton. You're right, boy, and things have changed a lot since you left, how do I put it? The alliance between the Nordic and biblical factions is in a good position, but somewhat pressured, since there are some factions that do not yet accept the fact of the alliance, but nothing serious has happened, since those factions do not dare to declare war, but there are rumors that they are preparing for a coup d'etat. In recent years there have been several attacks by the New Cows Bridge as they call themselves, this group has been dedicated to attacking various factions with the purpose of overthrowing their leaders. As well as breaking the alliance between the biblical factions by carrying out attacks posing as soldiers or generals of any faction trying to deceive and cause conflict between the leaders, but lately they have had a lot of movement since they have dedicated themselves to attacking important people for the leaders of the alliance. A week ago they attacked the Gremory group, looks at Issei, and tries to see his reaction to try to get an idea of what he was going to say next, but seeing him calm he continues, but a group of headed men arrived saving them from certain death. Although now that I think about it, it was you, right? Issei. Nothing escapes you, if it was us who appeared there, I went back to see them. Tanton. I see, sorry, friend. Issei. Don't worry, even though it hurts me deep down I'm happy because they found their happiness. Tanton. I'm proud of you, Issei, you took it like a real man and above all without any resentment. Issei. Well, it has to do with the fact that he was in heaven form, otherwise he would have killed them right there, he, looking away with a nervous smile. 10. At least you know how to control yourself and well, you want to know about them. Issei. Yes, tell me, I need to know everything that happened, please. 10. Well, according to the girls, the following happened. Rias met a high-class devil a few months after you left, they fell in love, got married months later and a year later she had her son. I've heard that they have a good marriage, but that the son is somewhat aggressive as soon as he hears about you, since it seems he doesn't like his mother's past with you. Issei. I think I have an idea why, but I don't think it's anything serious. 10. Very little is known about the half-fallen girl, but the little I know is that she has been living in a temple since she found out that the other girls found a partner and her father tried to pair her up with one of his subordinates since he was annoyed by their attitude and does not accept visits from anyone, not even her father. About the 3 girls worshipping the church, they shortly after year became half-angel, thanks to the help of Miguel and Ajuka. As for the one who was already an angel, received a promotion in heaven granting her pairs of wings. These visiting heaven constantly fell in love with a trio of angels, which I suppose you know, since apparently they were friends of yours from heaven before your departure. A year and a half later they got married and each had a child. As for the Nekomatas, the white-haired girl clung to waiting for you, but over time she fell in love with a middle-class demon whom she met by chance. When he appeared he treated her very well, and when he introduced her to Kuroka, she got upset. I found out that they were fighting for a while since Kuroka was waiting for you, but when she reconciled with her sister and met her boyfriend, she gradually fell in love too, and they announced a few months ago that they were pregnant. From the descendant of Lucifer I have heard that he started a relationship with the vampire types. Since you were not there they gradually grew closer until they formalized their relationship a few years ago. Since then Volley rarely fights since he spends most of his time with the vampire. Issei. No wonder that day I couldn't feel any increase in the boys other than Serog according to their power. 10. Well, their life became peaceful and to give priority to their daily life they stopped training. And as you say, that Baal demon continued training, becoming the patriarch of the Baal house, and its matriarch queen is now considering him as a Mayu candidate according to rumors. Sona Citri is still single and funded a raiding game school, but it seems things aren't going very well for her, thanks to the pressure from the demonic council, which keeps making things difficult for her. Her queen married the blonde Gremory, but apparently they don't have a good relationship because I received news of their divorce a few days ago. Issei. Haha, the safest thing is that Sona is still single because no one has beaten her at chess and I'll have to talk to that idiot for letting someone like Shinra go. 10. As for the Valkyrie, she met an Asgardian who was enchanted with her from the moment they saw each other. Soon after, it was learned that she became pregnant and they got married to avoid misunderstandings in society, so they have a good marriage. The mage descendant of the Pendragon was known to have fallen in love with a high-class demon, and they had a son a year after getting married, but there are rumors that her husband is cheating on her with a fallen one, but nothing has been confirmed since apparently his house has enough political and military power, so it is not so easy for them to recriminate him. And I think you like what I'm going to tell you. Since it seems you left the most coveted women in the supernatural world in love. Issei. Huh? You're talking about Gabriel, Sarachan and Penemu? 10. Indeed it is said that since your departure you left the trio quite devastated, that they are not the same as before. For a while it was said that Penemu was seen going out with several guys, but none for the second time, and that she hit several of them, and even threw food at them. Issei. I can imagine why but at least I know that I have the feeling that my feelings are reciprocated. You don't have any problem, right, father-in-law? Looking at Jesus. Jesus? But what are you saying, Issei? It would be an honor to be your father-in-law, and there is no better husband candidate than you for my 2 princesses. If my princesses, the fact that one of them has fallen doesn't mean that I don't love her. Satan. Nobody said anything, brother, and nobody here will judge you. After all, we know how much you love them. 10. Regarding them, is there anything else you need to know? Issei. Yes, have you heard anything about Yusaka and Kunu besides Ravel? 10. Oh of course, Yusaka is still the leader of her race and lives in seclusion as always, although it has been seen that she is often visited by a certain boy who was once rumored to be her partner, but was ruled out when the news broke that he is her daughter's fiancé. Apparently it was an arrangement by the old Yao case, and the daughter cannot refuse, and her wedding is about to take place. According to the Phoenix, she married a high-class demon year ago and fell in love with him years ago, and since then they were a couple until a year ago. Issei. Well, I think I'll have to stop a wedding soon, since I don't think anyone will take my Kunu-chan without my approval and blessing. Black aura coming out of him. Jesus. Calm down, buddy. You'll kill him when you see him. For now, don't act like that. You're scaring 10. Issei. Already calm down, oh sorry Tantan, I got a little out of control. Tantan approaching again. Tantan. Okay, but please don't act like that again, you're scary. Satan. And that's in angel form, imagine if he were in devil form, hahaha. Issei. Okay, let's put that aside. Okay, Tantan, thank you very much for receiving us, but we have to go, since it would be dangerous for someone else to see us here. I don't want anyone to know about my return. Tantan. I understand, boy, don't worry, I won't say anything, and come back whenever you want, you know this is your house. Issei. Thanks Tantan, say hello to the kids. So they proceeded to leave, they're heading to the forest of relatives again to open a dimensional crack that would lead them to the human world to look for a place to stay. There they searched for suitable places to build their home until they found one near Rome, Italy, in the Eastern Sea, where they created an island where they built a very large and beautiful house. But that done, they returned to Kuo to go for Issei's parents. Kuo City Hyodo house. Issei. Hello, we're here. And I. Hello son, how did it go? Were you able to do everything you needed? Issei. Of course, everything is ready now, we just need to move so we can be more relaxed. I. Sure son, just let us pack everything. Issei. No need dad, just pack your clothes, otherwise don't worry, I already solved it. I. Okay son. After Issei's parents finished, they proceeded to go to the new house. Rome, Italy, Issei Hyodo. And I. Wow son, what a beautiful house you made. Issei. Yes, Triexa and the boys helped me, so it has several touches of each one. And you don't have to worry about climate services or anything else, since the house has everything and has temperature and environment spells, which is why it is perfect. And I. Thank you, son, for worrying about us. Issei. You're welcome mom, it's the least I can do for you. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching, if you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day, bye.